Lisa's on a mission to give your body the rest it needs with 2 awesome mattresses plus accessories and bases for a better place to sleep. They also believe in providing a better night's sleep for everybody, and to date, they've donated more than 32,000 mattresses through more than 1,000 nonprofits. Get 15% off your entire order at lisa.com/bombcast and use the promo code BOMBCAST. That's LEESA.com/bombcast, promo code Bombcast.
Hi, it's Tuesday, June the 25th, 2019. Welcome to the first giant bombcast of the rest of your life.
Great.
That's all I got.
Oh.
I was trying to think of something
I'm
else.
happy to be here for the first one.
Yeah, the first one.
Yeah, get in on the ground floor.
Yeah, make sure
Since
to
last week.
write reviews. That really helps.
That's
If you
right.
Get everyone
Gets
to
us
write
off
a
the
review.
ground. Go right
Uh-huh.
it. Yeah.
Share it downhill
click
from
that,
here.
click that button right there.
Slam that bell.
Notification squad. What's up?
Fuck that
360p
couch.
crew in the house.
That's right.
Hello. Brad Shoemaker, Jeff Gersman is here.
Hello. You need a hand signal to that people can emulate.
Yeah.
If you're not building a cult on the internet,
Do like a
you're not
360
you're not
with your
building a
hands.
brand. Yeah, we could probably do a three hand.
Could
It's
that
this.
just be like a yeah? There we go.
This
Just a
is
circle.
That. This
Oh,
is
wow.
yeah.
This is too
You're-
close. It's too close.
Yeah, you're
How do I
you're
make
at
it
the
better?
Some
center.
other hand symbols.
You're at the center of the experience.
We can combine 2 hand gestures.
Okay.
We have 2 hands. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
What if it's just like binoculars?
Can we do the one where you make
Yeah.
your hands say blood?
That's probably
That's my
I
favorite.
mean, I
one.
can't. That's
It's
okay.
hard,
There's
but
an L. That's an O. That's an O.
I could
Like,
do
you
the
want, I
L.
guess I can kind of.
You want-
No,
if I
just-
logic it
I
out
just
while
made
looking at
boobs.
my hands,
I think we
I
want-
can kind of
we-
get there.
Try this in
want-
front of a mirror.
We want a high barrier to entry on our cult.
Yeah, definitely.
We,
Yeah.
want, we only want people with hand skills.
Yeah.
Of
Hey,
various
did you
sorts.
notice that they seem to be returning to that whole center of your experience thing? Like it feels like Microsoft used that
Who's
like
in
2
my
or 3
experience?
times with the whole like xCloud, like as they talked
Oh,
about. Their
I feel like they
stuff.
weren't even the only ones saying you're at the center of everything.
Yeah.
That we do. Thank you so much for not
not like in
sending bombs to our office.
not in like a fucking like pandering to
Okay.
like but in the like. And you're at the center of your like
Oh,
not
you mean
like,
more like Xbox One?
Exactly.
Like you have TV here and you have apps and
but
you have
also
games.
like at 360, like
Huh.
the circular.
Oh.
Like it felt more like a deliberate return.
saying we're gonna get a new console with an inhale.
Are we getting blades back?
I don't know.
Oh man, that
No,
would
we're
be
just
great.
getting the zones back.
Yeah.
See me in the underground.
That would be. Oh man. Well, we'll talk about that soon. Jason A. Striker's
Yo,
here. Jan
hey.
Ochoa is here.
Heyo.
Last but not least, internetless Ben Pack.
Oh,
Fuck.
What day is it now?
I don't know. I lost track of everything. Okay. So I moved
Yes.
and
Days without internet.
Set.
8. This is the 8th dawn of the 8th day without internet. I went to a cafe on Saturday
Mhm.
and I just sat there and it felt like I was doing a crime because I was just like I
You could download
I
stuff.
couldn't do anything, but I could do almost anything I could do in my own home.
you were loitering.
I mean, no, you're not loitering if you order.
Did you order something?
Yeah,
okay.
I got,
All right. Just checking.
I got 2 things
Paying customer.
because I knew I was going to be there for some time.
I thought that's why you felt bad.
Did you bring your PS4 in here last week to download a game?
Yes, I
did.
did.
Did I see that
I
happen?
did it again.
Yeah.
Okay, let me back up. I didn't want to get. I'm not going to name names, but I didn't want to get the like kind of monopolistic
America's favorite internet
provider, at least on the West Coast. It's like definitely kind of the most notorious one. Instead, I opted for the second most ubiquitous
Great.
and powerful internet service provider in the area. And so they said, well, it's going to take us a week to even get somebody at your house. And that should have
pretty
been
standard.
my first.
That's fairly standard.
Is it?
Yeah. Okay. But I forgave that.
It's not great, but
Sure.
but it's not unheard of.
No, sure. And that was kind of my understanding. It was like, okay, it was a good price, it was a good plan. I'll wait.
Yeah.
So
It'll all work out.
It'll
Right.
all work out. He shows up yesterday. He walks in my house, the tech. He drives up in the van. Drives up. I show him where the port is. He looks at it. He's like, I need to go look outside. He goes outside and he looks at it and he goes, I'm going to go check something at your neighbor's house. And he just gets in his van and drives away.
Oh, no.
And it was a solid 15 or 20 minutes until he came back. I was pretty sure he just like left.
With like a dozen donuts.
Yeah.
Nobody came back, and I told him, I'd be like, okay, I'll leave the door unlocked. I'm gonna be in here like doing chores or whatever. Just feel free to let yourself in. I hear the door open, and I come out, and I see him, and he's just laughing. And
That's
I
a great
say, hey, what's up? What's the plan? And he told me, he said, okay, so, and he inhaled, and that's never what you want to see.
Yeah.
Okay, so hands together in a prayer sign.
That never ends
Inhale.
in. And now you've got internet.
Yeah, here's
Thanks.
so-
See ya.
Yep.
Everything was fine. I
Yeah.
took care of it instantly. He needed to go through the yards of 8 houses to get from, you guys might know the technical term, the box where the
That's
internet
the
lives,
internet box.
Yeah.
to my
box.
to my box where I live.
Uh-huh. Get all up in your box.
And to do so, he needed to go through the yards of literally 8 houses. He showed me on Google Maps, and he said, okay, what I need you to do if you want internet is to go to each of these houses, get them all to figure out a day that's going to work for everyone to leave their gates unlocked so I can get into their backyards, do what I need to do, and move on to the next house. Also, they can't have any dogs in the yard or else we're legally not allowed to be in the yard with them because of like protections and all that. And then if you can get all 8 of them to leave their gates open and not have a dog in the yard at the same time, on the same day, at the same 4-hour period, you can have internet. And I said, thank you very much. I'm going to go call Comcast.
Yeah.
Man.
I think I downloaded that game on itch last year.
Let me ask real fast. Was this for the fiber plan from unnamed?
It wasn't even.
Okay,
It was like
okay.
Oh, no.
like a just,
It's
you
just
know,
standard ass.
like around, I think it was like 200 meg.
Okay.
You know.
Never mind then. I was
No.
going to say if it was for gigabit, I would say it might be worth.
Yeah, you know,
Maybe,
I
yeah.
just moved in and I
Just
feel
know.
like it's a good time to
could
introduce
bake some
myself.
stuff for
Yeah,
people
exactly.
coming
Okay,
over.
let's
Hey,
come
can-
around. Like, it's going
Can
to
I
help
have somebody
all of
tear
us.
up your backyard? Is that right?
I brought cookies.
Did he say if they had to tear up the backyard?
No, so
Okay.
he had to go along like the telephone
Oh,
So
line.
he's basically just stringing a wire.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
that's
he
fine.
said like, you know, the actual he would be in each person's yard for like maybe 5 minutes total.
Yeah.
You know, it'd be a real in and out thing, but like it just had to. That's 8 people. Can you imagine getting 8 of your neighbors to do the same thing on any day?
I don't know one of my neighbors, let alone 8. And I've been living for like over a decade at
Yeah.
the same place. It's
We've been
like-
there for 8 days.
Yeah, the idea of like that, I would move.
If you had to talk to people.
But yeah, so thanks, number 1 ISP of the Bay Area and sponsor of my favorite esports team, EG. Because I'm gonna.
really?
We talked to
Huh.
we talked to them and they are
The esports team.
yeah.
Okay.
I'll have internet soon. It sounds like they were like, oh yeah, we can look at this map and see that we can just come by and do a thing. I was
Yeah.
like, why don't the other guys have that?
Right.
Yeah. That's, well, that's why they're number 2.
I guess.
I guess. I am worried that my promotional pricing with the number 1 ISP in the area is about up. I forgot when I signed up for their gigabit plan plus the additional fucking $50 I have to pay them to actually use it
Unlimitedly.
unlimitedly
Oh, man.
to use it the way people use the goddamn internet.
Especially if they have gig.
Are you locked into them? Like, is it a monopoly there? Do you have options?
I have options, but it's like, do you want 20 down? I'm like, no, I do not.
That's not an option.
Yeah, that's not an option.
that's not
Meanwhile, like, so Sonic, your ISP,
Yes.
is expanding.
To whom I only pay a little over $50
yeah,
a month. Period.
they are expanding gigabit into my area, but it's like someone less than a mile away from me can get it, and I cannot.
Yep.
And it is infuriating.
Oh,
It is almost worse than when it was not available in the town at all. When they were like, "We're taking pre-orders for your area." I'm like, "Awesome! I'm gonna punch in my address." Oh, I'm fucked. Oh, this person I know over there. So I was like, "Okay, I should get them to get it, and then I'll put up a line of sight.
There you go.
We'll hang tin cans." And
Fuck that, man. Just run a Cat 6 through the backyard.
Yeah.
that would be more than 8 people at that point if I was running Cat 6 for. It's less than a mile, but
Okay.
it is still
Yeah, that wouldn't work so well.
not much less than a mile.
I mean, our friend and former coworker who lives 2.5 blocks north of me
Yeah.
still can't get it.
Right. Yeah.
I've had it for 3 years. Like
Unreal.
it is super spotty.
I had access to it and actually signed up for it 2 weeks before my house burned down. And the tech
that's terrible.
showed up
That's right.
That's
at
terrible.
the house and called me. He's like, "Hey, I think there's a problem with your house." And I was
bad.
like, "Yeah, I forgot to cancel that. Sorry."
Nope, no problem here. Just wire it up. Wire up this smoldering.
Yeah,
Hook
it's
it
like literally
directly into my laptop here.
Yeah.
Oh man.
My internet connection is a major factor in me not wanting to move, even as my rent goes up more than 10% year over year. So,
yeah.
Is that the dark future we're headed into? It's like rent control is not the thing; it's internet control.
the Bay Area
I mean,
is
we're
a land of contrast.
net neutrality.
Let's say.
yeah.
So Sonic does the gigabit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's weird because I've got 500. So when I do like a speed test, it says Sonic Internet, but I pay
have-
Web Pass or someone like that. That's strange.
There are situations where like the actual ISP will be leasing the lines from
Okay.
whoever
That's
actually
got to be it. Yeah.
owns the infrastructure. So that might be what's going on there.
Are they just limiting me to 500?
Maybe?
Oh
Yeah.
man.
Are you in one of those places where the whole building has internet?
Yeah, but I
Okay.
am actually paying for it now because once the building got full up, that's when like internet speeds went down.
Oh,
Everybody
sure.
they started throttling
Okay.
everybody, and it was like
So you're
20.
basically like paying for your own bandwidth now.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Now I am, but and I'm fine with that. I'm
Yeah.
fine, but
500 is nothing to sniff at.
no, it's fine.
It's pretty good.
I feel like the real world download speeds on my gigabit are like maybe 700,
Really?
5 to 7
Okay.
most of the time. So
Yeah, I
I
feel like
consistently
I've
hit
always
500,
ever
so-
gotten about
Yeah.
like 75%, at best 75% of my
it's like it'll
promised
speed
speeds.
test just fine, but in real
sure.
world stuff, it's like
I speed test about 950 up and down,
yeah.
and usually come close to maxing that.
Yeah, my up is
Talking
nowhere
about
do
my
that
insane
once.
internet.
I would do that once a day just to feel
Yeah.
good about myself.
I feel like a dick talking about this, but when we did those
Yeah,
streams,
you fucking should.
the day before we went to E3, we
Yeah.
did those kind of home streams.
Yeah.
I wanted to open Dota loot boxes and realized I didn't have Dota installed, so I downloaded all 30 gig of Dota while streaming in like 4 minutes or something.
Yeah, well, I went on a walk.
5.
I went to a park.
Everybody should have internet.
I
like
can do
this.
that too.
Everybody should have internet like
yeah.
this, which, to Sonic's credit, is kind of their mission statement.
Sure.
I picked an apple off a tree and took a bite, and it was one of the most beautiful moments of my life because I didn't have anything else to do.
Like they raised their
That
prices.
sounds like a good way to get arrested.
They raised their
that your
prices
neighbor's tree?
$10 a
Yeah.
month.
Not one of the 8.
Okay, good. Yeah.
When they jacked up their prices like $10 a month
Yeah.
a year or so ago, and they just flat out said like, "Hey, we're doing this so we can install this for more people in a wider area." And I was like, "Yeah, that's fine. I
Yeah.
get it.
Yeah.
That's totally fine. Like this is such a good service. Then that's totally cool."
Bring that shit to the people.
Yeah.
Power to the players.
Yeah, yes, exactly. Their slogan.
I'm feeling unorthodox this week.
Oh, no.
Jan, be at the ready.
Okay. We're rolling the second ad.
In honor of there being next to no news, because everybody is still trying to catch up on sleep after E3, and there not being a ton of games out, we're going to start with emails.
oh, shit.
Wow.
Ah!
All right.
You didn't see that
Yeah.
one coming.
Did not.
I have in front of me 43 emails.
Oh my god.
Okay.
All right. Lay into this shit.
Okay. Bombcast at
Power to the
giantbomb.com. That's right.
Who wrote in?
Throw your gang signs up.
That's it.
Look around. Look around first.
Yeah, that's why you look around.
Oh, okay. Does
There
it
you
work?
go.
Can I do it with glass? Do I do it around?
And then
Yeah.
when do I
Yeah,
say
you can do
hootie
it.
who?
Whenever you want.
Okay. Hootie who?
That was a good time.
All right.
Michael's in the other studio. I think he might respond.
Okay.
First email comes in from Chris Evans.
Hmm.
Probably not that one.
Oh, well.
Subject line, Nintendo Auto Chess. Body.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the
Yeah.
email.
Yeah.
That could work.
Pokemon Auto Chess.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
anything with a
Auto
roster,
chess.
Smash Brothers Auto
Oh,
Chess
yeah.
should be, I guess that's actually just
Pokemon
Nintendo.
could be its own auto chess, right?
Oh, God. That'd
Easily-
be too many
Easily
characters.
enough.
JoJo's Auto Chess.
Right.
Okay.
Oh, man. Dota Auto Chess.
What?
Oh,
No,
what the fuck?
No, that's just
No.
ridiculous. That's
That's silly.
Danny from Ballarat. I guess that's how you say that.
It's not a place.
I don't know.
You getting fooled.
Yeah, you're probably right. Actually, I'm gonna.
McDonald's auto chess.
I got the ball.
Think about
right.
it. 3 small fries
okay.
combined into a medium.
we're going
Obviously,
okay.
3
Yeah.
mediums go to a large.
I was
Get
gonna say
like a
there aren't
Hamburglar.
enough characters, but if you're gonna put food items in there,
Yeah.
then yes,
like a
I'm
quarter pounder.
with you.
A junior quarter pounder.
Double quarter
Double
pounder.
quarter pounder.
Oh.
And then like a Big Mac, I guess.
It's a city in Australia,
Okay.
I'm told. I missed the Xbox 360 gamer card. Do you think that you should bring them back, or they should bring them back?
Yeah, we're gonna bring them back.
Do you think they?
Proud to announce.
Do you think they should bring them back?
So what did the gamer card have? Your username, your achievement score, your
Achievements,
avatar.
reputation.
Reputation,
Reputation
which was a
ranking, wow.
score out of 5 stars,
Five-star
right?
rating. Yeah.
Your zone
Right.
and your gamer pick.
Your gamer pick. What were the zones?
Recreation,
I know we like
Recreation,
Pro,
watch
Underground,
Underground.
Underground, and was there maybe one other one?
I think there was a fourth.
Yeah.
It wasn't like
the speed
casual
zone.
or
Oh,
something
shit.
like that.
No,
was
no.
there?
Recreation, I think, was meant to be the.
Let me see.
Yeah, what was the casual one?
Fake.
I think recreation.
Okay.
Yeah. Fake was the one.
Family.
Family.
Family was the other
one
one.
for mom and dad.
The
Yeah.
most important thing, family.
I'm all up in that family zone.
I miss a lot of stuff about that era of the 360.
The zones is not one of them.
Zones
The
is
reputation
kinda
ranking
one
is
of
not
them.
one of them.
In a really ironic way.
I
I
wonder if any game ever actually took the zone, because they pitched the zone thing as like a matchmaking
Yeah,
thing.
They would match
Yeah.
you up with.
Yeah, you were like, oh, well, if you're in the pro zone, we're going to match you up with that. But then, like, all of their patents and all their filings around true ranking or
It's
whatever,
based on like hidden skill
Yeah.
ratings, right?
yeah, and not the zone.
Yeah.
I bet that whole thing was just a sham. I bet the zones were just a scam.
I bet somebody believed in it at some point.
Oh, so I'm sure that like when they created it, they were like, and this will tie into something down the line. And
Yeah.
then engineers looked at them like it was there's like a mathematical way that's better to do this than to like separate
I mean,
people.
think
and
about what
whatever.
that would do to like queue times, because Dota's gone through stuff like this before, where it's like, okay, well, we're gonna separate party matchmaking and solo matchmaking, and that's going to already split your audience into 50%. If there was a hidden matchmaking thing, which is probably the best way to do it, because it's going to make you win 50% of your games, which is what should happen.
Yeah.
Ideally. You're then segmenting it down 4 more ways, and just people would be forever waiting to be matched up with somebody who they were
I'm
close
not
to
sure
in
that it
skill
would
with.
segment it. I think it would just wait, the
or like
current options.
yeah,
like
or would like prefer
Yeah.
to find similar zone, but if that's not available, then it widens out. Like games do that now. Like
Yeah.
Call of Duty, so it's the thing about playing Call of Duty before it's out is when there are not a lot of people playing it, is you start to see some of what that game looks like if there aren't a ton of people playing it.
Yeah.
And you see things like, oh, it's it'll say like matchmaking, and then it'll say widening criteria.
Yep.
Like it'll literally say
right.
so like you watch it go through those cycles. And so watching like a modern game go through those cycles is probably what that looks like across the board.
Yeah.
For that sort of thing. But and it does it pretty quickly. It's where it's like, oh, there's not enough people in your region, so here's this Australian server that's mostly full. We're going to throw you over there, and,
Right.
it's pretty quick about it these days.
I think the thing I missed the most about that era of the 360 was all the branded sponsored gamer pick packs that they put out.
yeah, totally.
That Tom Cruise.
Granted, like people's relationship with brands was very different in 2005
And they were just free.
before they were to be hated and feared.
Well, I hated
It was
and feared
just-
them then, but it was like for a different reason.
Yeah,
right?
well, it was fun to laugh at.
Yes, exactly.
Like-
you could
Using the Burger King as your
Yeah.
gamer pick, or say Will Smith from Men in Black 3. Like,
Yeah,
there were a
but,
lot
like,
of free gamer picks to be had.
exactly, but like now that's like a bullet point on someone's chart, and
Right.
they're just like, well, this many people are using it in this.
Yes.
Like it would.
Like it was funny and ironic to use your gamer card as a billboard back then.
Right up
Not-
until it
not
was
so
part
much-
of someone's
yes,
marketing plan,
Yes, not
in a realer way. Than
not
it
so
was
much.
Then.
Yeah, not so much now.
If you had to bring back gamer cards, what's one new stat you would put on there to reflect?
Oh, I don't
Wired
like-
Wi-Fi connection.
That's the good one.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's your zone.
Gosh, I don't know. Like they are tracking so much more data on the Xbox now.
Yeah,
But they don't really surface it.
I think
very
it's
well.
like that thing was just designed for you though. Like it was just a profile page.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like when you go view someone else's profile page, you see all the data that you see all the same data, except for the reputation and the zone stuff because it's been completely deprecated.
I liked that you could embed it in like your form signature though.
Well, that was
that's what I'm talking
They put out
about.
like the markup or whatever.
But
so
like
you
that
could-
wasn't even them. That
Oh,
was
you're right.
That was a
third
third-party
stuff.
site.
You're right.
And,
that's
and
right. Yeah, their API stuff was always kind of spotty, wasn't it?
They didn't have an API
Yeah.
for. They don't.
Right.
It was like they had a community developers program that you
Yeah.
could sign up with, and then even then, if you were scraping their site for achievement data, that team was like, hey, if you could put an identifying thing in your scraper so we know who's doing it, that'd be good, because then we can go to our bosses and say, hey, we want to do something official API like.
Yeah.
Someone actually built a PSN API, like back
Yeah,
engineered, like
yes,
hacked
I remember
together.
that.
I think that still exists.
Huh.
Anyway, like there are still achievement and trophy sites out there
Yeah.
that are still doing that, but none of that stuff was ever truly official. I think Microsoft eventually had like an embeddable gamer card thing, but it wasn't necessarily like signature sized, I want to say. I think that was like mygamercard.net or whatever, the third party, the big first third party site
That sounds right.
that did all that stuff.
I also just miss the innocent use of the word gamer all over the place.
Oh,
It was also a very time and place
yeah,
kind of thing.
but it felt bad then. You know?
But again, it was like it was so dumb that you could like laugh at it in an
Yeah,
earnest kind of way.
exactly. But
Like it was never something that like you took seriously.
yes,
If that makes sense.
but I think even when they were like
Says
your
you.
like gamer tag, like that was
Right. Like it's so like the whole like across the board, it was all just so dumb that you couldn't help
Yeah.
but kind of like
it's
it.
like the tragic thing. Like people are so fucking dumb. When you say like when you talk this stuff, they're like, oh, they hate gamers. It's like, no, like you're forgetting that like the origins of the word gamer were EA marketing people
Right.
talking about Madden fans,
Right.
and gamers wanting to fly that flag, and the gamers are going to get out there and they love the St. Louis Cardinals and they're going to do this and that, like talking about
It's like
sports games and
It's like when you take down a picture of Santa, or like you don't have Santa in your marketing anymore, and people are like, "Oh, you're killing the spirit of Christmas," when it was like a thing created by Coca-Cola.
Exactly. Yeah. Like people like being out there trying to be all for the word gamer when it was it was always just a marketing term
Yeah.
that all of us just looked at and said like, this sounds terrible.
Are you saying Gamers Day was made up to sell gamer cards?
I don't know. And then so when Microsoft leaned into it with the gamer tag
Yeah.
and gamer card and stuff, like it felt super out of touch
Yeah.
at first.
Yeah.
It was just like, oh, what the fuck are you
mean-
wrong with you people?
Like to fully flesh this out, like I feel like this even tied into like the Jay Allard like suit jacket hoodie look, like the earring and everything. Like
Yeah,
it was,
yeah.
it was this big stodgy office computing
Like
company
trying very
trying
hard,
very hard to be hip
cool
across
and
the board,
not
like,
really doing
sort of
it.
fudging it and doing
Yeah.
it in a really cheesy way.
But whatever, they forced it on people long enough that
Yeah.
now people are just like, I'm a gamer. And like, all right, yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Go buy Funko Pops, I guess. That's what you're supposed to do, right?
Yeah,
That's how it goes.
Oh man,
got a number of
This
Funko Pop
fucking-
emails this week that I
this,
decided to exclude.
the sword store in Japantown sells Funko Pops now.
Mm.
They're
There's a sword
literally
store?
The sword
But
store.
do they sell them specifically because, like, hey, you should cut this with your sword? Or do they sell like swords and things to cut to shit with the sword?
I didn't approach it from that angle,
Yeah.
but I think that's
We
a
got
good idea.
apples.
That's got to be it.
Yeah,
and Funko
here's all our
Pops.
Funko Pops and apples and watermelons.
All right, Keith from San Diego.
What's up, Keith?
If you were a console manufacturer looking to launch a console in the holiday season next year, one date really stands out: 10/10/2020.
Ooh.
Would you put money down on one of the next consoles launching on that date? How important is the date versus coming out first? If the first console to announce takes this date, would you take the lesser date of 9/10/20 in order to beat them to market?
There's already a console planned to launch on 10/10/20.
Is there really?
The Intellivision Amico.
I was just about to some emails about that.
so
actually.
already taken.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay.
I was gonna say I can see Call of Duty launching 10.
Yeah.
They love their like days.
Yeah.
You
They
know?
they already have. I think they're 10/21.
Oh,
Well, for 19. That's for this year. So I don't.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess I don't know what next year is.
Gotcha.
But they're always like picking a specific Friday. So if 10/10/20
Oh, right. Yeah.
happens to
Do
be
we
a
know what day
Friday,
of the week that
then,
is?
Oh, that's a
then I
big
could
deal
see Call
then.
of Duty or some of those other games trying to hit that
Assassin's
mark.
Creed.
Yeah.
Well, I guess there's not.
Those dates are too early to me. Consoles always launch in November,
Yeah.
and I think
I thought you were getting into November 18th because when I think about like what are some of the last days that end up being
I can see it.
Tuesdays more often than not, it's like
Yeah.
11/18.
Yeah.
That's the last stop before Thanksgiving.
I think the last ones did come out mid-November, right? Early to mid.
That sounds right.
Second, third week in November,
Yeah.
something like that.
Well, maybe with the
Yeah.
trend that we're seeing in a lot of like AAA video games, we'll have an option to be like, you can pay $100 more for the console and play it a week early.
Great, I love it.
It's possible.
That's kind of, I mean, the 360 when they were taking pre-orders that were like, hey, do you want the one with the hard drive or not, or the basic model? I feel like it was easier to get the hard drive
Really?
ones
Oh,
that were more
yeah, you're right.
expensive.
Yeah.
yeah, just almost like that.
That was a weird one just because they were so scarce.
Yeah, but also like retailers do all the shitty things of just like, oh yeah, we got them right now, but it's a bundle for $400 more that come with the 8 worst games for the console,
You like
bootleg controllers, and a fucking disc that'll clean the system.
you
What's
like
the-
Just Dance, right?
Yeah, and a card that you can
faceplate.
redeem to get Game Informer. I don't
Pops.
know. Yeah,
What was your guys' least favorite console bundle? Because I played the shit out of my Xbox 360 that came with Kung Fu Panda the game and one of the Lego Indiana Jones
so
games.
that wasn't even launched. Like you bought it way later,
yeah,
and
yeah.
it was a bundle.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess those were like pack-ins at that point.
Yeah,
that wasn't like
it was like
a retailer
it was,
bundle.
It was the same price
Yeah.
for those 2 free
I guess
games.
mine would be like a Fortnite or something. The damn game is free. Don't bundle it in. You're not.
It's just taking
know,
up
Yeah,
hard
yeah,
drive
they've
space.
written Fortnite on the box and say, hey, you can get Fortnite with this. Like, no shit.
No,
I get Fortnite with my phone. I
Yeah,
can
I can get it myself.
I
Thanks.
don't
get
think I've
Fortnite
ever
with a tank of gas.
Don't put it on the box.
I don't think I've ever bought one of those shoehorned retailer bundles.
Yeah.
I try to avoid buying consoles at launch, so
Yeah.
it's usually not a
I was
problem.
always buying them at launch, and like we always just needed more of them around the office, and it just I got to review these games. I need a fucking console at home or whatever. So I feel like I was always like either pre-ordering super fucking early and being able to get one that's just like the console, or coming in later because like, oh, we need more of these,
Right.
and then ending up with like 3 fucking basketball games. Then I'm just like, all right, well, these are going in the company library because I'm expensing this anyway or whatever. Yeah, a lot of bad shit like that.
I'm going to say November for both of them.
Okay.
My guess is they just typically don't have a big enough launch lineup to launch earlier than that, and then have it look like they're just kind of stale by Christmas. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like if you come out in early October and then don't release a game for your new system for 2 months, that looks like shit.
It depends on a lot on what the third parties are doing and when they'll have games ready and
Yeah.
stuff like that, and that varies.
Yes.
But Microsoft bought all these studios. They want to be better at selling first party games.
Yeah.
So maybe if they could be in a position to have a stronger first party launch lineup than they did last time out.
Possible.
Yeah, I don't know.
George from Omaha, speaking of the Amico. A bizarre headline that got my attention to this E3 was Intellivision plans to hold E3 press conference next year.
Next year.
Have you guys at all been following this new Intellivision console, the Amico, that's apparently launching next holiday? From Twitter, it seems like they were showing it to select folks in one of those small E3 conference rooms that Jeff and Dan hijacked.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on it? I personally just get Coleco Chameleon flashbacks. Will I be able to play and hear B-17 Bomber once again?
Is this? I have no idea what this is.
It's,
Is it just another Ouya. Essentially,
No.
like an
Well,
Android-based?
their big pitch is the controllers are like tiny phones or like tiny iPod touches.
weird. Okay.
It's like, what is it?
All right,
It's,
sure.
I think there's a physical...
It's like it looks kind of like the physical Intellivision disc.
Yeah, so it's like a disc
but
on
with
one
a touch
side
screen
and a
on
touch
it.
screen on the other side.
Should be really good for like a trivia game, like family
sure,
type
yeah.
stuff, where you want to
Yeah.
have a like the VMU promise of just like I can call plays in the football game on my touchscreen.
Yeah, the basic pitch is it's a tiny console with 2 of those controllers, and there are like charge slots in the console that you put the controllers in, and they're doing the whole like, hey, we'll never have DLC for our games. They're all going to be less than $8.
Okay.
Like every game will be $8. I think
Yeah.
that's the
So
figure.
You'll
it's-
never
it's-
see loot
it's
boxes.
kind of,
Yeah, it's
it's
that.
kind of phone game-ish, or
Yeah.
like that scale, but on a TV.
Yeah.
All right.
They one of their big things is like we got Earthworm Jim coming. Like, all right,
Dang! Wow.
great,
Finally.
awesome.
I will say that I have seen Tommy Tallarico out on Twitter quite a bit since E3 talking about how much positive press they got from the respected people they showed it to.
Yeah, I don't know. They didn't.
Like,
yeah,
that's what I mean.
They
Like,
were not on our list.
He's
and
very much emphasizing.
I don't know who they showed it to. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I would have liked to have seen
Jimmy
it. but
Tallarico.
Yeah. But yeah, Tommy Tallarico is like the CEO of it.
Yeah.
Like he ended up somehow running Intellivision. Like some of the stuff I think was already in the works, and I want to say the head of it passed away, and Tommy Tallarico got involved or got more involved. I don't know the exact timeline of events there, but that thing looks interesting. They put out a trailer and talked up their thing. I'm always really skeptical whenever, and that's why you get the Coleco Chameleon flashbacks. But I think when people say things like "and no DLC," that can resonate in a positive way with people, but in reality, it's just kind of limiting to developer. Like, there's plenty of reasons to go like, oh, I want to make a game, like a trivia game that would be perfect for that sort of thing, or a board game, like something where you're using that touch screen. You might say like, oh, it'd be really cool if we could add a question pack onto this. Here's 1,000 more questions for $1, or like there's no reason. It's like anti-technology at some point to have this like and no add-ons ever.
Are you telling me the Intellivision people are being anti-tech?
Yeah, some weird kind of Neo-Luddite sort of quality to it.
Yeah, and like
we're doing it how it was done in the 70s.
Exactly. You're like, that's not like, okay, fine, that's cool. I love old games, but like that's not the number of people that are going to go, yeah, finally. Like the Coleco Chameleon, I want to say their pitch, and I don't think Intellivision has matched this in fucking insanity, but their thing was like, no patches. Like, oh, awesome.
That's not a good.
Yeah, great. Whoops, we shipped a broken game.
Right.
Oh, fuck.
Get fucked.
Like, yeah, I mean, I get the idea of like, hey, you need to hold developers to making sure that games fucking work.
Yeah,
like, no problem.
Yeah.
But the reality of game development these days is that doesn't happen. Yeah. They had to fucking issue revisions of Nintendo cartridges back in the day when they had obscure, weird bugs that didn't get caught. Like, shit fucking happens. Technology has found a way around that stuff. Like, if you want to impose limits to, like, prevent people from shipping fucked up shit and patching it later,
please,
there are ways to do that. They should do that. But, like, it just, like, that whole thing just sounded so dumb. And like, they're, like, a pitch of, like, no DLC. Like, that's the pitch they're making, right?
I believe that's
like a
the
no
case.
DLC thing.
Yeah.
It
or
just
maybe it's just some no microtransactions, or
Okay.
like maybe they're trying to
like stuff like that just sounds super backwards to me. So if that's their pitch, that's no good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. That thing looks interesting.
Yeah.
I would like to see more of it. I've seen some people be fairly excited about what it is they're working on.
They have a vision,
yeah.
at least. I mean, whether anybody wants their vision is another question.
It's, like it's not like this is something that's going to be competing on the scale of, a PlayStation or something like that. But when you look at like the
watch this thing become the next Wii.
But I mean, well, sure, anything's possible, I guess. But like, it certainly looks more inviting and appealing and modern and well thought through than like that Atari thing.
Yeah.
Right.
That like keeps getting announced and pushed back and re-announced and pushed back, but like they don't seem to be spending a lot of time talking about games or what they're doing.
Yeah.
Like the Intellivision announcement, when they rolled it out, they had a video that was just like, hey, we've got games coming to this thing, and here's like some old stuff and some new stuff, and so it seems like way more thought through than a lot of the other projects that happen at that scale.
Yep,
so
for sure.
So, best of luck to him. I want to see what that thing ends up being, for sure.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, same. Stay from Wolverhampton, UK.
Whoa.
I hope I got that right.
It's a cool name.
It's been a while since the workplace urine testing discussion, but I had a discussion of my own last week. I asked a colleague who used to be agency staff, now a permanent employee in my department, about the best firing he had witnessed during his time on the project he was on. Said fired employee passed the drug test by having his friend's clean sample in one of those leg strap contraption things.
Mm-hmm.
He got the job. Feeling smug, however, he then bragged to his new colleague about what he'd done, looking to bank some cred or something. Unfortunately, the person he told was also looking for brownie points and went straight to management, who walked over, opened his work desk drawer, and found the contraption waiting inside.
Wow.
What? Wait, why would you leave it?
Why would you keep it?
He was fired the same day he got the job.
Why would you keep it?
Oh, I guess they did the test on his
must have-
first day.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that means over the course of a day, he picked up his friend's pee,
Mm-hmm.
pulled it in the thing, went to work, did the deed, told his new coworker who he just met literally that day, presumably,
Yeah.
like, hey, my friend's piss is in this drawer right here.
Yeah, there's still a little bit left if you
There's
need
like,
it.
Yeah, if
need
you
it.
really want to, and then got fired.
That's
I've never had a day that eventful.
that's pretty fucking action packed.
I mean, that guy shouldn't have snitched, but also that guy shouldn't have told him.
Yeah, that's not new coworker conversation.
No!
Yeah, just keep it to yourself
Yeah.
if you're going to go that route.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Snitches get pisses.
Ooh.
Remind me to never snitch on you.
That's right.
That's
Let's find a creative use for that leg bag.
it's the opposite of dry snitching.
Here's a 2-part email from Joel. I just went over my lunch hour because of Dota Underlords. Help. Do I sign in or do I, quote, forget? Like 13 minutes later. Crap, I gotta find the...
I have been escorted from the building. They took my Dota contraption out of my desk.
Here it is. Something like 13 minutes later. Update. I have fudged it. I'm playing Dota under my desk. Fuck this game.
I agree.
Jan, do you have anything to add?
I slacked Ben over the weekend saying I fucking hate this game in regards to Dota Underlords, and I think I've fallen down a Dota hole, and I hate myself.
Ooh.
And I stayed up till like 3 a.m. the other day just because like it runs fine on my phone, and I was just like, I don't understand this game. And then I started looking up fucking tier lists.
Oh no.
And then now I'm thinking like, oh, these people in Dota look familiar now.
Well, why don't you try some Dota now that
Oh,
you've
wait,
got
is
that
that-
foundation?
Is that where this goes? Are we
I don't know
think
if
that's
that's where it goes.
Are we theorizing that Dota Underlords is going to be a gateway for a lot of people to actual Dota?
No.
I think the one thing that could get me back into Dota is being able to share the misery with a whole like squad of
Right.
new people.
Could you imagine? Yeah, oh my god.
If a bunch of people I know who have never played Dota started playing Dota, I would totally get back in.
It's like a Dota suicide pact.
I don't want to drink this Kool-Aid.
Too late.
Yeah.
That ain't Kool-Aid.
Underlords is very good at. It's very easy, and I assume we'll talk about it more in depth later. But it's very easy to be like, "Oh yeah, I totally have time for a game." Oh, to like lie to yourself when you really have 20 minutes.
It's super long.
Like,
I have not played any
I
more
know.
of it because every time I sit down and play, it's like, oh, these matches take way fucking longer
My
than I
phone
would
gets
ever
too
want to
hot.
use a phone for. Like, this is stupid. It's crazy how long those matches are.
What are we talking, like 45 minutes?
40-ish minutes.
40
Yes.
minutes. Yeah.
It's probably longer than an actual Dota match now.
Yeah. I would say on
Generally.
average.
When you think about
Wow.
like, especially when you start thinking about like what your interaction is, like you've got, okay, I've got these phases where I'm doing stuff and then I'm watching the stuff unfold. Like it's just way too long.
Is that time expectancy like across the board for some of the other auto chests?
Oh yeah, they're all.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean,
I
even
can't
League?
speak to the Teamfight Tactics
Oh.
one. That's the only one I haven't gotten a chance to download for some reason.
Huh.
But yeah, even that one I think is probably pushing. I can't imagine it being much shorter because the mod, Underlords, they're both rather.
I feel like that thing needs to be half as long as it is.
I like it.
I don't dislike it, but I think for like the length of the game has prevented me from playing it.
Yeah, that's
Because
understandable.
it's too much of a commitment for that. Like if I'm going to spend 45 minutes doing video game stuff, I'm going to play something else.
You're gonna play Tap Titans.
Hell yeah. No, because that can just stay open and sit over on a desk.
Sure.
Like that's the opposite of it. Is like I could leave that open for 7 hours and just like look over and go, huh? Oh, okay.
I don't know. I like having a long game I can play in my phone, in bed, just like sit there, comfy as hell, like on a Sunday morning, and just like spend a really lazy morning playing 2 games of auto chess in an hour and a half. Like get up, It's nice too because like I can like brush my teeth for a round and then like put on like I can play it while I'm getting ready for work or something. Like
So I think if I was going to play a game of that length, I would need to be able to like swipe it away and do other stuff and come back to it.
Yeah.
And having it be a multiplayer
Underlords
thing
is really
that-
bad in that regard.
Yeah, but having it be like a multiplayer thing that is going to proceed at its own pace, regardless of whether I'm ready or not, is a problem. Like I just can't do that. Like that don't fit my life.
Yeah.
Okay, so
So-
here's what you do. For the first 15 rounds, you just lose
Yeah,
on
open fort.
purpose, right? And then like that saves you like 10 minutes to do whatever until you can finally hunker down.
Yeah.
You get that lose streak going.
Hell
Galt?
yeah. Oh man,
We'll talk later.
Like if it was maybe if units had half the HP, I don't know. Like I was gonna say,
Yeah, how do you
if
speed
the
that
unit
up?
cap was cut in half, but like that's way less interesting.
Yeah.
Like you kind of want more units, not less, because at least it's engaging at that point. But I don't know. Like maybe if it's just maybe if the rounds just
chess
auto resolved.
isn't for you, Jeff. Maybe this is the new shit.
It's a
this
good
is
point.
The new shit.
This isn't put a
The
quarter
future.
in and jump
And
over the lion
Hubert.
until you run out of. This isn't hop on the cubes until they're all pink, or until Coily gets you 3 times, old man.
You're used to putting a quarter in and playing 15 seconds of Dragon's Lair and then dying.
You're saying Marilyn Manson is a big,
More like $1.50.
fan of Dota Underlords?
Yeah.
I would believe that.
I've won 4 games.
Nice.
Hey.
I'm proud of
Yeah.
myself and ashamed.
So who's
Didn't it crash on you a couple times?
It
though?
did.
Oh, yeah.
it did.
Pretty much
so I
every
can't
game I've been in has
document my
crashed.
wins.
Good lord.
So who's caught your eye?
I don't know. Like those hunters are pretty good, and druids are. I don't know. They grow together pretty well.
Okay. Maybe we should talk.
I hate that I'm learning Dota terms.
Yeah.
It's funny. I was talking to a friend who's playing. He never played Dota, but he got really into the Auto Chess Origins game, and we were like talking about the game, and he'd say like, "Oh yeah, Shining Assassin has a thing." I'd have to be like,
That's not a name.
"Who the hell is
What?
Shining Assassin?" It's Templar Assassin,
Oh,
but like,
okay.
it was like we were speaking almost different languages, but about
It's
the
like
same
a different
thing.
different dialect.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, we're on like a fourth order mutation of the original. Like it went from Warcraft 3 to Dota Mod to Dota 2 to this.
Yeah.
Like these same units have just been getting renamed. and-
Why is the panda called Tusk? Pandas don't have tusks.
Wait, that's not a
He's
panda.
not a panda.
He's a walrus.
He's a walrus.
Is that not a panda?
He's a walrus.
Have I been looking at it wrong the whole
I
time?
think so.
Tusk is a
God, all
walrus.
right.
It looked like a.
I'm gonna go look at
Okay,
Jan's
thank you.
drawer.
Yeah.
After
No.
this.
He does. He does the walrus punch.
That's why I thought it was weird. I'm out of the game now.
All right.
I thought there was.
If that's not a panda, then
Glad,
forget
glad,
it.
glad to have helped. All right, we kind of covered this, but my name is embargoed until July 20th. My wife, who is not a gamer, recently misheard me mentioning Dota Underlords as Donut Underlords. I would much rather play that game.
Me too.
My question to you is, what would be the best food-themed knockoff of a game franchise?
McDonald's Dota.
So, it's got to be something that can upgrade, and what better way to upgrade than to supersize it?
Supersized. Oh, shit.
What if you put sprinkles on your donuts
Okay.
as they level up?
Like plain cake donut with frosting, cake donut with frosting and sprinkles.
Yeah.
Or
See,
I guess
like-
not cake. The
Like
other
a
one.
McDonald's
I'm
auto
thinking Bear
chess
Claw every time.
that could be the like Sneak King-esque
Yeah.
ridiculous game tie-in from a fast food company that I could get behind.
If you have 3 fritters, you gain 15% deliciousness.
Wish I
boy.
had 3 fritters right now.
I do
Yeah.
too, man. I want 15% deliciousness.
Panda Express Auto Chess.
There would be a panda in that
Yeah,
one.
there should be a panda. I hope.
Cold Stone Auto Chess. Like it, love it, gotta have it
Oh,
sizes.
God damn it.
Right there.
And then if you like spend money to level up, it sings.
Yeah, you can spend $1 for
Yeah.
it to tip. And they sing at you.
They don't do that
They
anymore.
don't
They
do
don't.
that anymore.
And now I feel okay tipping.
Yeah, I bet
Because
their
I
tips
don't
went
feel like
way up.
I don't feel like I'm
If you-
Making them.
sing for me.
If you're like from overseas or somewhere that doesn't have Cold Stone, it was this it's a fairly popular ice cream chain store, but their whole thing was if you put $1 in, they were supposed to sing you a song, right? And was
It was
a
like ice
dance
cream
too?
themed.
It was like a whole song and dance routine.
It's fucking terrible. And so you just felt so bad for the people. They're just like
Yeah.
they're already like busting their ass trying
Like,
to make
I
ice
want
cream
a
as quickly
tip.
as possible. And like, all right, now sing for me. Like it's just
We would like slip it in really fast when they like weren't looking.
right.
Like just like put $1 in really quick. Make sure they don't see that you tip. We don't want them to have to sing.
Or just like put the money in while shouting, "Don't sing!" Like, I don't know. I don't. Yeah.
I thought their whole thing was like smashing the ice cream on the Cold
Well,
Stone.
yeah,
that's
they,
part
like,
of it, yeah.
I've never been there.
Slap it and like put the toppings in and like use the.
It's like
spatulas
Benihana.
Sounds like
to-
a yeah.
It feels totally needless.
sounds like a violent ice cream
it's just
experience.
not. It's not. No one needs to. Anyway,
I like the ice cream though. It's like a little
It's
chewier.
fine. Yeah, it's
I like
great.
it.
It's fine.
I like a chewy ice cream.
This is barely related to this point, but did anybody see the pictures going around yesterday of the chow mein sandwich from that
Oh,
Chinese
no,
place?
That sounds all right.
Just a like a fucking gigantic plate of chow mein with
Okay.
a cheap hamburger bun on top. It's apparently amazing.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's all about
Like chow
bread.
mein busting out the sides?
Yes, no, like a whole plate full of it.
Okay, but
yes.
the
like
hamburger
there is
bun is regular
presumably
size.
yes, regular size hamburger
That's just
bun.
a goof. That's just
No, it's like
That's
it's on
silly
the
internet.
It's on the Yelp page.
It's like a
it seems
sandwich,
to be.
you know?
It seems to be
Yeah.
legit.
Well, luckily in the Bay Area, we have Chinese food and donuts.
Yeah.
a winning combo every
Yeah.
time.
Just a straight up restaurant.
Get you a place that can do both.
Yeah. Speaking of doing both, Mike from Somerville, Massachusetts. In an odd mix of hobbies overlapping, I have become aware of a private airplane completely covered in near automata artwork.
What?
As anime experts, I would appreciate hearing a critical review of this anime application and pose a question: what else requires a healthy dose of anime on it?
Just don't get on the plane.
Elon
Like-
Musk's Twitter.
I'm
Yeah.
going to pull up this.
I think he's got you covered on that.
Yeah.
I'll have to link this in the show
Oh,
notes or
shit.
something.
Oh my God.
That's Kessler's business jet.
This is very much a small personal airplane with
And it's
large.
like fan art too, because I don't
Yeah.
remember her having
Yeah.
that white outfit.
Yeah. It's,
Unofficial
They-
near art.
and they
as
really,
well.
Oh yeah.
put some work into this.
Oh boy.
Is that near?
Yeah, those
Yes.
are the twins.
Okay. Oh yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
That's
That's
all,
cool.
It's all over there.
I mean,
Wow.
why not?
What
Yeah.
else? What else would be good to slap anime on? The Salesforce Tower up there, the
Okay.
like ISRon
But
looking.
what would you put on
building.
there, though?
They've got all
broccoli.
that body pillow art.
Mm.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
just, like
That
is
would fit.
framed
It's very
perfectly.
vertically oriented.
Totally.
Ooh, the monster Masume, I think it's called, the snake lady wrapping around, going up, like, and then
Okay.
she's at the top.
I would put Dio from JoJo's.
But only when you
Why
look
not?
at it from like a certain angle.
Yes.
It's like a magic
yeah.
eye almost.
It's like I thought that was a building, but shit, man. I mean, yeah, like that. There should be, like,
More anime and more stuff.
sure, why not?
Okay,
At
all
this
right.
point, let's just fucking lean all the way in. And but I've been saying there should be a jet game that is the Forza equivalent,
Yeah.
where you can
Oh.
decorate the planes
Stickers
with all that
and
anime.
paintings and
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah. Yeah. There's no, I mean, there's like, Ace Combat and shit, but there's no real just like, I guess Flight Sim is the closest you get to like
Yeah.
here's a game where it's like all about how fucking cool planes are and look at planes and show off your cool planes.
what if
Yeah.
they had that, but for space trucking?
Yeah,
Because
Okay.
have you seen that clip of Rebel Galaxy Outlaw
Oh,
going around?
Yeah, with
No, not the
the
most
with
Where
recent.
Keanu.
they airbrush a picture of Keanu Reeves onto the side of the spaceship in the game,
right.
and it's got like a full-on Photoshop-looking interface.
Nice.
Where
My-
you
my fa-
import stuff.
My favorite thing about that tweet was there was a really detailed back and forth between the developer who posted it and one other guy asking specifics about like the cannon structure on the ship that lasted like 30 tweets, and they were just going back and forth. It was just-
The game looks so good.
it does look really
It
good.
looks really
it
good.
looks really cool.
Yeah, space trucking, but like that what do they call it? The Japanese trucks that get like
Oh,
super
sh-
over
oh,
designed
yeah.
and detailed. Like if you could do that
Like
on a
that
space
Street Fighter
truck.
level.
Yes, like
Yeah.
that Street Fighter level, but in space with space trucks.
I have typed Japanese elaborate trucks
Yep.
into Google.
but like
Turned
with
off
fucking
save
Robo
search.
Zangief
Yeah.
on the side of every truck.
Huh? Think of all the sounds you could have
Yeah.
your space truck make.
In space, a truck you can't hear the
The only
trucks
thing you could hear
scream.
is trucks.
Nick from Michigan. Anthem, Artifact, or Fallout 76, which game has the best chance at making a Final Fantasy XIV Realm Reborn or No Man's Sky style comeback?
Fallout.
Fallout.
Also, do you think any of these games just end up getting fully scrapped?
Yes, the other two.
I think
Yikes. I will say, in both of those cases, they have publicly said, "We're standing by this game. We're going to
Definitely,
rework it."
and of course they are. They have to.
In the case of Anthem, it was the CEO of EA who said that.
Yeah, totally. They and they will up to a point, right?
Yeah.
I mean, but
right,
like,
right up until they don't.
at some point, that's a like what is it? Throw good money after bad
Yeah.
money situation. You're like, oh, we did turn this game around, but it turns out no one is there to notice.
Yeah.
So I don't know why I found myself on the Anthem subreddit yesterday.
it's fun to check in
Yeah,
there every once in a
I haven't
while.
been there in a good month or something, but yes, I
It's like
get it.
fun is not the word I'd use. It's like this tragedy of like it's like the people there have given up.
Yeah.
And it's just this feeling of like it's them talking about like that interview with Andrew Wilson where he talked about like, oh yeah, no, we're gonna stand by Anthem. We think there's a thing here, but it's just a lot of people going like, who cares? It's like people going like, hey, I can get Anthem for $20. Should I? And people are going, no. Like, don't. Every hour you put into this is a waste of time.
Yeah.
Even for $5, even for, like when it moves into EA Access, then maybe, but also probably not. Like the people there have like turned their back on it so much, and I think like deservedly so up to a point. It's a hard thing. Like you look at it as like, hey man, they've made a lot of strides in that game to correct things that should have been in there at launch. Like it's definitely a better game than it was on day one. But not in a way that is going to turn it into like your favorite game, the live game you're going to spend 100 hours on. Like it missed its window on that so widely, and it's impossible for me to see any trajectory where it gets back to where they thought it would be.
Like think about the amount of resources it would take to what they need in that game is a fundamental like. Basically top-down overhaul, right?
Do you make it free to play as a way to try to get people in the door?
Add
Like,
some
what-
crazy new
what do
mechanic. There's like, theoretically, it's like a huge change that has to be made to that game if it wanted to make some sort of comeback.
Yeah.
But then think about the amount of resources that would
Exactly.
take on a gamble, right?
Yeah.
It's not even like a new game that they can.
It's like,
get
wouldn't
new
you
run
rather
on.
just like start over and say, we'll get it better next time and hopefully not have this baggage attached to it? Because like if you turn it around, that's a hell of a story. But if you don't, you've saddled this game with even more baggage of like, oh, I heard that game was shit. Why would I play it?
Right.
Even if it is better, I think that's just a hard.
At least Fallout has like the history of Fallout behind it, and some things it can draw on to make things a little more appealing. Like their announcement that we put NPCs in got people excited.
Having them, not to blow our horn, but having them come out at E3 and say they're adding things that we were saying 6 months ago were what the game needed.
But like that's not us.
vindicating.
Like the people
I'm not
working
saying-
on that game knew.
No, I'm
that
not. Yeah,
then,
I'm not
sure.
saying. I'm not
Yeah.
saying. I'm not saying that they listened to us and said, "Oh yeah, you're
Yeah.
right. We should do that." What I mean is like everybody knew that's what that game needed. So it's like nice to see them actually do it.
Yeah.
You know, like
And
it sounds
Yeah,
obvious.
but like the Anthem road has been similar to that too. Of just like I'm sure the people working on Anthem were like, yeah, you need to be able to change your equipment here. You need to be able to like this load time into this area is dumb. Why are we doing
Yeah.
this?
Well,
Like,
that-
because we
that's
had to ship a game.
That's the problem with Anthem is they started at such a deficit that
Yeah.
they've spent all their time so far just bringing it up to the basic standards of the genre.
I think Fallout gets away with like it being different from the previous Fallout games. So when you do things to make it more like those previous Fallout games, that is seen as a victory.
Yes,
Yes.
that is.
I guess- so that-
Anthem-
Elder
Anthem
Scrolls
doesn't have that.
Online,
That's-
Anthem doesn't have that, but Elder Scrolls Online had similar stuff where, like, at launch you're like, nah, this is.
I think
it is
that's
what it is.
that's
but
actually
they got closer.
That's actually more what I was trying to get at was
Yeah.
when they said like, "Hey, we're putting NPCs in." Like there was a worry that they were going to stick to their guns and be like, "No, it's an online sandbox and
It's a new experience.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
the worry was they were going to not want to concede the point that like, hey, you should make it more like single player games. To
I
make
think
it
they
good.
this
but they
is
totally did.
But this is probably what their roadmap looked like all along. Like I don't think that this is like some shift for them.
Maybe. I don't know.
It's like like of course you get to a point where you've got NPCs, and of course you get to a point where you've got more of that stuff. It's probably just like, oh, how do NPCs interact in a world where you can shoot everybody across multiplayer stuff? How do we keep it synced? It's easier if these are just kiosks and terminals and things that don't fucking move.
Sure.
With the exception of like the shopkeeper and what other stuff. So I think
give
they probably
ourselves a year post release
Exactly.
to figure out that
I think
stuff.
they just got to a point where that's again I'm guessing, but
Yeah.
and Artifact I think they'll do something to it.
Yeah.
I
mean, they have the benefit of being a private company that can make their own decisions and not have to worry
Yeah.
about shareholder
And now they got
pressure and
Underlords
stuff.
to
they have
worry
they
about.
kind of have that stuff right.
They've got other things in the fire. Whereas, like with Final Fantasy, they didn't really have anything else to go to. So
Yeah.
they had to reverse course with this. But in the case of like Bethesda, they've got other stuff. EA's definitely got other stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if they would put that kind of effort into.
Yeah.
Changing course.
Similar scenario, different style of game. Dangerous Driving. They just patched in online multiplayer last week.
Okay.
Huh.
Yeah. Yeah, they
which
said,
is
I
like
think they
the
said it launched.
Yeah,
that
they
was
said it was
coming, right?
coming. Yeah, and it was like, oh man, that's great. This is what
Yeah.
that game needs. And so the patch hit. And I'm like, cool. Fire up the PS4, create a room. No one ever joined it.
Yeah.
Oh.
And it was just like, man, that must suck
Yeah.
to do that work. Like that game kind of came and went as it was. I came away with it going like, oh, this is all right. Like it's a little too much money, but all right. And look at it and go like, oh, this is. It's like it's a quality product.
I would think, and
But like no one's coming back to games.
Yeah.
I would
these
think if you
days.
tried to do something like that specifically, and I'm not a game developer, so this might be totally wrong, but you would want to like maybe populate a lot of early things with some bots just to give people an idea if the online multiplayer is fun, and then you can be out there and be like, hey, I played the new Dangerous Driving online multiplayer and it's actually pretty fun, and then more people start playing it.
Or like, something. I don't know what the right way to add that later, because it seems like the answer is have it at launch, because that's when people are hearing about and are excited about and covering your game. And like some of these updates down the line, like it's kind of the weird thing about early access, right? Is like, you know, these games take great strides sometimes from when they first hit early access to when they launch, but like a lot of the excitement is when a game is first available. So when a game coming out of early, was it like Billions just came out of early access, and I don't see people talking about it. The people were talking about it then is like, this is awesome. Yeah. And you go look at it now and it's like, oh, the people that stuck with it are actually kind of unhappy with some of the changes that happened over the course of that early access. And like, okay, that's weird. Maybe they took some wrong steps and be able to fix it. Maybe they won't. I don't know, whatever. But it's like, yeah, the hype or whatever around a game happens when it's first available. And so coming out and selling a game like a Dangerous Driving and being in the situation where you have to wait and patch in multiplayer later, like at some point, that work worth it? Was the amount of work it took to patch that into the game worth it at all? If you know, I can't imagine that game sold super well. Maybe I'm wrong, but it didn't seem like, you know, like we were talking about it when it came out, and it kind of came and went in a couple of days, and like most games do these days. And then they added this thing, and you're like, okay, yeah, there's just no one here.
It's a shame.
Yeah, it must suck to do that work and then push it out and then go like, all right, we cleared cert and this patch is going out. All right, let's play. And then get on there and be like, no one showed up. And like, how much of that is like, we need to market the patch to let people know that this happened, or what? I don't know. It's
No Man's Sky seems like a real outlier in that sense.
Yeah,
because they have just made it such a different game than it was when it came out.
Like you know, there was so much fucking rage around it. Well, that, like, you know, it hit that anthem.
People didn't forget about it because
it hit these other levels of like, well, I want to see what, you know, what are they doing to this game because they fucked it up so bad. Yeah. And then you check on it one day and you're like, oh, they fixed everything I'm pissed about. Well, I'm still mad, but
a year later, like, oh my god, they added a whole bunch more features.
Right. And it sold super well. Like, you know, the people were angry, but it also sold well enough to fund them doing all that stuff. Yeah. And
they've just added so much to it at this point. The stuff they're talking about for this summer sounds kind of crazy. Like, but it does not seem like a repeatable situation.
No, it's not something you could bank on as like, here's our plan. Right. Like, it's they lucked into it and were very lucky. Yeah.
I think
they did a ton of work.
Yes,
I'm not saying like
they
made some of their own luck.
They deserve credit for capitalizing on their opportunity to make that game.
But they were lucky to have the opportunity in the first place. Post launch. Yeah. For sure. And I think just a lot of it just comes back to like all these cases, I think, come back to there are a ton of games coming out all the time. Games come and go faster than they ever have. And with more and more games trying to demand larger investments of your time, you're now competing with a game that might be 2 years old. And like, oh, I need to shake someone loose from a game they're playing now so that they can make a room for my game. And all that stuff just makes like the idea of shipping a game scary as fuck, like even more so than it's ever been. Like, you just have no idea, especially like if you're shipping knowing that you've got this update schedule that like, hey, like online in a driving game is a pretty, you know, you expect that feature to be there. The idea that it's coming later, like, I get it's a small team, like I understand, like, you know, you got to pick your shots, you got to get some money coming in, you know, whatever the situation is. But at some point, like that, if you don't have that at launch, like it's a clear case of like, well, no one's gonna remember your game. Maybe they will now. I don't know. We're here talking about it, but fuck, it just sounds so fucking terrible out there. In cases like that, I mean, there are tons of opportunities for developers and more than there ever have been. I'm not saying it's all doom and gloom or whatever, but like, it's just fucking scary.
So it's a competitive scene.
Yeah,
for sure. All right. One more email before we go to break. Tim from Chicago. This week marks the landmark week when my city has decided to plunge itself into the hell that is the rideshare, dump it wherever you please, rent a scooter trash pile. So far, I haven't seen too many out in the wild. I've seen a few here and there, like one abandoned on a sidewalk overlooking the expressway, or pics of them already in dumpsters, but we're only in the early stages of our outbreak. I thought this was just going to be a San Francisco problem. Why didn't you guys contain this? How much time would you say we have left before we're completely doomed?
How could we?
That being said, people are still respectable with the rent-a-bikes.
I see way fewer of them here
yeah.
than there was.
Totally.
Like, if anything, I think, San Francisco did contain it to a certain extent and start exporting those scooters to your city. So sorry.
Or LA. I saw
LA.
so
So,
they were
many
a
LA.
crap
the
ton.
the weirdest thing about E3 was coming out of E3 having like half a dozen people I know saying like, you know what, those scooters are kind of fun, or like people saying like,
Sure,
oh, I
yeah.
used them to get to E3 every day.
They're not
and they were
unfun.
very convenient.
And they can be convenient, but like my time in Santa Monica with them, where it is like a beach boardwalk and
It's
like
harrowing, right?
tourists
Yeah.
that are like
Yeah.
walking and staring at the beach and not at their surroundings and all this other stuff. And some of them are on scooters and some of them are on foot, and they're all in the same area and no one's wearing a helmet. It just
Yeah, I had a guy miss me by like 6 inches clipping me walking to the show
yeah, it's
one
fucking
day,
wild.
like
I've been-
flying down the sidewalk.
I've been doing a lot of research into them just to kind of like figure out how they're doing and like are they profitable and all this stuff. The thing I didn't realize is they just straight up have a clause on them that is like you have to be 18 years or older
Yeah.
to use this.
Yeah.
And you do not, I have seen like
Oh, yeah.
8-year-olds writing these.
And they also say stuff like, "Oh, make sure you wear a helmet."
Yeah.
It's like, okay, you guys don't provide a helmet.
No. Yeah,
right.
Like that's not. I'm not walking around with a helmet and no scooter just in case. Like, they have a lot of clauses in there that are just like trying to absolve them of responsibility in a way that is extra shitty.
Yeah, like they're definitely so I feel like I was pretty anti-scooter when they first started showing up, and I still generally am anti the company that supplies the scooters. But like they're super helpful for people in like lower income neighborhoods, places where you can't get public transportation easy, stuff like that, and that's where they're making the most money too. Is areas like that. I would say only throw your scooters in a lake if you're in a rich part of town.
Apparently, they were a big problem in Lake Tahoe. They tried introducing them over there, but then
Nobody wanted
snow
them, huh?
skidding there.
Oh, yeah.
Locals hated it.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Scooters on ice doesn't seem like the best.
a good show, though.
If you want more insight into what you can do in your neighborhood, I recommend Bird Graveyard on Instagram.
Yikes.
It's a fun follow.
It is. There was one. There was just a whole line of them going down like dominoes.
Oh wow.
But like that doesn't do any damage.
It's
You might
fun.
ding
and
them up.
everyone
It's fun.
cheers.
Yeah, yes, everyone cheers. But when I saw one on fire and a dude jumping a skateboard over it, I was like, now we're in fucking business.
All right.
Like that Manx TT cabinet that Tony Hawk jumped over that one time.
There you go. Was it on fire?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's like, why would you set an arcade cabinet on fire?
Yeah, that's...
It's fucked up.
Was it upright?
Yeah, it was a big old, like, elaborate two bike sit down
Okay.
thing. Like a whole thing.
So he was clearing like what, maybe 5 feet or something like that?
He was more than that. Like it was a long cabinet. It
Oh,
was-
wow. All right. Okay, with that, we are going to scoot our way to a break and then come back and probably read some more emails.
Oh.
Debt is a massive problem, and the truth is, traditional credit card companies don't do much to help. But now there's a new kind of credit card company called Petal. Petal was started by a group of people who were sick of old school credit card companies. That's why their Visa credit card has no fees, and their mobile app is designed to help you manage your spending responsibly. Petal's cashback program rewards you for doing the right thing. Earn 1% cashback right away, and up to 1.5% cashback when you make 12 on-time payments. Petal's a great modern option for anyone, but especially for those who are just starting to build credit because you can qualify even if you've never had credit in the past. Petal partners with web bank member FDIC. As of today, the Petal Visa's variable APRs range from 15.24% to 26.24%. It's about time a credit card company helps you succeed financially. Check out the Petal credit card. It's a smarter credit card for the modern world. Go to petalcard.com/bombcast today to find out more. That's Petal with a T. Petal, P-E-T-A-L, card.com/bombcast.
All right, continuing on with more emails.
Yeah.
Only the most important of topics.
Great.
This one's from MJ. Do you all take time to specifically wash your feet in the shower?
Okay, I've heard about this.
This is,
yes.
I feel like this has been a renewed topic of discussion on the social media of late.
Good.
I always kind of assumed the soapy water running over my feet basically took care of it, but my girlfriend recently noticed I don't do it and now thinks I'm some sort of garbage person.
Probably.
You're too far away.
Ooh, that's actually like maybe a legit excuse.
I have a
Maybe.
whole foot care thing that I don't really want to get into here because of all the perverts listening, but
Oh boy.
I'm disqualified from answering this.
I wash them.
Yes,
No,
watched
I
it.
won't-
Absolutely.
I won't say it's every time, but
Ah.
yeah, they do get washed pretty frequently.
Not here and there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
I guess. Yeah.
Fair enough.
I was always under the assumption that the soapy
Exactly.
water would just kind of
Mhm.
run through the toes.
It does.
And yeah,
It definitely does.
but no, sometimes it needs a deep scrub, as I've found out.
Dead skin, you know.
Yeah,
Sometimes you need to exfoliate.
exfoliate. Yeah, exactly. A podcast host that I listen another podcast that covered this topic. One of the hosts said he sits down in the shower,
Huh.
I would totally do that.
like he purposely sits down so he can wash. Just
Interesting.
like very close to
Like,
everything.
puts a stool in the shower.
No, he just
or
sits down
Oh,
on the
on
ground.
the ground. No,
I would do a stool, but
He has like a mat, I think.
okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't know if I can get down with sitting in a shower.
God.
and
I
not
think
crying.
I think I could probably be better at exfoliating. Just period. You know, I'm a not a loofah guy.
Mm.
I think they're gross.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I'm just rubbing a bar of soap on my damn body, the way you do.
Just get some of that lava soap.
Does that have a little grit in it?
Tiny rocks in your
Yeah,
soap.
I like a little grit in a soap. Why not?
I for the first time in my life am in a shower that has not only a detachable shower head, but its default state is above my head.
Wow.
Oh,
And my shower time has gone up
Congrats.
about 400%.
Oh,
It is
sure.
it has changed from a chore to something that I can enjoy.
Like now
do.
you understand why people
Take a
sometimes
long
take longer
shower. I'm
shower.
like,
You're like,
what?
oh, this is great.
I love
Yeah.
standing in a very small chamber and having a stream of water hit me in the belly button for
Yeah, it's
10 minutes.
It's the shittiest thing about traveling. Well, not the shittiest
Oh,
thing,
man.
but like, you know, the idea of just like you get in like the worst
It's a crapshoot.
hotel room shower head. It's not detachable.
That,
It's
that
just-
shower head at E3 was so form over function. I couldn't believe.
Oh yeah,
Like
that
it
one
looked
is-
so trendy, but it was so useless.
It's fucking garbage.
Oh, that thing was-
fucking garbage.
I was confused where the drain was.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah. At least there was no giant foot. In the
there was
room.
no door that shut, so if you had to, you know, the doors. You need a lockable door in your bathroom. God damn it!
In your hotel room, though?
Yes.
Okay.
So what if you have the homies over and you got to do a number 2?
Okay. Yeah, I guess so.
It's a fair point.
Tell them
What
not-
if you have the homies
What if you
over,
have the
Jason,
homies over?
and you have to do a number 2?
If they're truly the homies, they know not to F with you while you're doing a number 2.
They'll do the homie protocol, which is walk up to the window, look out into the distance, and cover their ears.
Yeah.
All right. I was so busy thinking about feet, I didn't select another email.
God, this
Could somebody
happens to me
make that
every
sound
day.
bite, please?
Yeah.
Danny from Virginia. Listening to last week's podcast and heard the discussion on giving children titles for names. I work as a waitress and was assigned to work a birthday party. One of the waiters working with me that night introduced me to a guest at the party whose first name was Commander. I was in utter awe at the sheer respect his name, commanded. In short, better to name your kids with stolen valor than with video games.
Oh,
That's
You
pretty
a
good.
kid named Commander, you'd call Ander, and that almost sounds like a real name.
Commander.
Or Kami for short.
There you go.
Commander
Yeah.
is it's not
Hey,
bad.
Como,
It's really not bad.
hell of a terminal program.
Homo. I like Commander. That's a powerful. It
It commands
puts a lot of
certain-
pressure on you though as Commander. You either have to live up to it or you have to completely downplay it.
Yeah, you have to just be the most stoned person alive ever, or a fucking proper commander.
Yeah.
What if you joined the service and attained the rank of commander? What would you do?
Commander,
Well, then they'd
Commander,
call
you've
you
made
whatever
it.
your last name is,
Yeah.
right? So you,
But everybody would know.
when they say like Commander Jones, that is just your name, but it's also your title.
What if you go get your last name changed to Commander?
Commander.
You're just like Lieutenant Commander. You're like, no, that doesn't.
Please, it's Lieutenant Commander.
Yeah.
Another name email. Sean from Canada. An email in a previous podcast brought up the subject of naming your kid after a video game character. This got me thinking, what Mario baddie would make the best prison nickname?
Shy Guy.
Yeah.
I was about to say Shy Guy is probably the worst one you could go with.
Wart. Trying to remember all my. I picked up the Mario Encyclopedia. Have you guys seen that?
No.
It's like the first 30 years of Mario, and it has
that looks
every
cool, yeah.
mainline Mario game, a picture of every stage with like a little 1-sentence description of it, every enemy that's been in every game.
This one's
every boss.
underground.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's it's stuff like the first underground level, or it'd be
Yeah.
like this is the first level red coins appeared in or for whatever game. But it also has just like a straight up glossary of every Mario enemy and boss that's ever been in a game with their name, and just like learning so many of the weirdly named Mario characters that like kind of were in one game and then fade into the obscure. I should bring that thing in. And we should look at some of those.
Yeah, I'd look at that.
Fanto would be a sick ass name.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to say Ludwig von Koopa.
Oh,
Sure.
Or
Don't
how
mess with that
about
guy.
or how about Eggplant Man?
Who's Eggplant Man?
I don't know, but it's on this wiki page.
You sure? Because the Eggplant Wizard is in Kid Icarus.
Right.
That's a whole thing.
Eggplant Man is a character who first appeared in the game Wrecking Crew for the NES.
Okay, yeah. Eggplant Man. Yep. Yep.
All right.
All right.
Apparently he's a trophy in Smash.
I think it's really hard. I would not consider. I mean, you play as Mario.
Yeah,
I
that's,
guess
since-
you play
since
as
that-
Mario.
since that
but
game
Wrecking Crew is not a Mario game.
So the encyclopedia also has a 4-star rating system for its 4 stars is mainline Mario game, 3 stars is Mario has a major part in the game, 2-star is Mario makes an appearance, and 1-star is other characters from the Mario universe make an appearance.
So I think even though you play as Mario, I would say Wrecking Crew is a 2-star Mario game by the scale you just laid out.
I mean, Eggplant Man, like I said, is a trophy in Smash and has also appeared in WarioWare Smooth Moves.
Oh, of course.
So
well
he's-
then.
He's
right.
established.
he's pretty well integrated.
Do you want to know something that I think would make you happy?
please.
Super Mario World 2 : Yoshi's Island. That's a 3-star, non-official
Yeah.
Mario mainline game.
Yeah, it's definitely not a. Yeah. 3-star, I think, is a little high.
Mario's on screen all the time.
Not the way I play it.
Here's a question from Terrell. I was thinking about the Xbox's Scarlet reveal during this past E3 and how there really wasn't that much information given. This got me thinking, is Xbox pretty much using the marketing plan for Scarlet that Sony used for the PS4 back in 2013? The concept of allow the competition to reveal first and then mimic and or one-up them in order to gauge the reaction is literally what Sony did in 2013. That tactic seemed to work pretty well for the PS4 launch, and I could imagine Xbox is looking for their how-to-trade games moment to happen. What do you think the game plan for Xbox and PlayStation will be leading up to the console launches?
I think that only works if you remember, they were talking about things like load times at E3 last year, in a less hard way and not with facts and details about how they would achieve that, but the things that they said were important to them in a new console, they kind of said before Sony did. So I think that kind of shoots a little bit of a hole in that, but also they're both achieving similar goals. So yeah, I think the differences between the consoles have never been less significant.
No,
with what we know right now, and what is likely to happen from here. Right? I mean,
yes, I'd also heard that around the show from one developer.
Yeah,
These things are going to be very similar.
Very similar. It's just do you want to play the Gears of War or the God of War?
Right. No, it's just Gears now.
Okay.
I'm just going to assume they're going to do roughly what they did last time until they prove us wrong.
Will they call it God 5?
Yes, I would totally be more inclined to play that game.
Mhm.
Probably big gala standalone event to reveal them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fly everybody out to New York again.
It'll be standalone, you think?
Yeah, that's what they did the last time.
Yeah, I think we'll see standalone events. Whether that's another trip up to Redmond for whatever Microsoft does, or whether they do. I mean, they'll do stuff.
Theirs was at the campus.
I went
right?
up there for that.
Okay.
Thing.
So I think Sony's was in New York, if
yes,
I'm not mistaken.
Yes, Sony's in New York. Yeah, Sony's when it was in New York. I remember sitting in like the studio where they filmed TRL, doing like Jeff Keighley was doing like a panel show in the TRL studio, because I think Game Trailers still existed then, so it was like still some affiliated Viacom thing. It was like just weird sitting in that room overlooking Times Square, where he had a feed of them doing rehearsals because they were going to live stream this stuff out. And so we were just standing around watching them do rehearsals and watching them say PlayStation 4 over and over again.
Wow.
So going like, huh. And showing like some Square game. I forget whatever. I think it was the Square game.
Was it Deep Down?
It's Deep Down. Yeah, their own event for that reveal. But like Microsoft announced they're doing their XO event in London in November. So they'll have stuff there. But I wonder how much more... Because that stuff could still be focused on like Xbox One games for all we know, like primarily, right? Because it'll be a public event where people could play games. So they might not go that much harder on next gen stuff there. They might just wait for their own event. That was like February or something, the year of launch that Sony
February.
did
I think it was
the New York
February for
event,
PS4,
right?
and then like May for Xbox, I believe.
Yeah,
And then they both like showed what the box looked like and gave the price at E3.
right.
Like that's still the big question to me: is do they still show up at E3 next year to promote that stuff, or does Microsoft follow Sony out the door and just do their own thing? It's tough to say.
Microsoft's name is on that theater.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. It makes sense for them to. They own that property already.
Yeah, and or they own the naming rights to it. I don't
or whatever.
I don't know what they actually own there. But I wonder how much they are paying, how much they pay to the ESA. If it's similar to their booth, because they didn't have that mixer booth on the show floor this year,
right?
So I wonder if they are already kind of removed by doing the thing they did this year, without the equivalent thing.
So they're basically piggybacking on all the hype without
also
paying for floor space.
But also they let people in if you have an E3 badge.
Yeah.
So it's like it's clearly an E3 affiliated event in a way that like EA Play is not. So I don't know I wonder how much money changes hands.
Yeah, when you put it that way,
stuff.
where it's a no-brainer for Microsoft to be at E3, then it seems like it forces Sony to also be there, because you have to show up with your new box if they're going to be there with their new box,
We'll
right?
see. There are a lot of variables that I think are probably still in the air around what happens next year for just E3 in general, that it'll probably be another 6 months or so before we start hearing how that stuff's going to shake out.
Yeah. Ryan from Orlando. Some foolish souls think that pancakes are the answer, but they forget that waffles can both pair with fried chicken and be used as a sandwich if the need arises. Sometimes you got to run, and breakfast. This is a weirdly written email.
It's from the Waffle Council.
I think he made a typo here.
Sometimes you need to run it. Yeah. Got a waffle offer.
I think he meant sometimes you got to run at breakfast. And you can't do that with soggy pancakes.
True.
What?
Please confirm this truth, or forever be outed as a non-believer.
I am a non-believer. You can wrap anything up in a pancake.
It's like a little burrito.
You don't have to coat it in syrup and get it soggy.
They don't have the structural integrity of a waffle. The waffle's got this lattice arrangement.
That's
very
fine. You can have that, but you can like put some egg on there and roll it up into a burrito, a breakfast burrito type. Like you can put a sausage in the middle of a pancake.
I feel like you need a really big pancake though, right? Or it's just going to rip when you roll it.
You get like a McGriddles situation.
McGriddles are quite fantastic.
You can make a sandwich out of pancakes too.
Yeah, I think Denny's sells a pancake sandwich.
IHOP.
Okay,
Yeah.
I like waffles.
Yes,
fried chicken is fine. I don't necessarily think they pair.
I think they do quite well, even with syrup.
You are classically wrong.
I don't like putting syrup on fried chicken like that. I don't need it.
Well,
but I don't mind it. I like both things just fine. I will eat them together happily. Yeah. But I don't think that they compound or add to each other.
I don't necessarily need a dipping cup of maple syrup to stick a chicken leg in.
Yeah. No. You drizzle it.
But you got to do a little drizzle.
It's messy. This bone-in chicken you got to pick up and eat, and now it's covered in syrup too? What the fuck am I supposed to...
You take a fork. I mean, you take that little bit off. You make little sandwiches out of the waffle. Like it's
elaborate.
perfect. Yeah, no, it's not elaborate. It's very easy.
It's a lot of
actually.
work.
No,
That's
you take
not
half of that waffle. You take a little bit of chicken. You drizzle some of that syrup in there. My God, it's a little baby sandwich, and it's delicious.
Thank you, Jason, for bringing some reason to this panel.
You're welcome.
What if I just have some waffles and then occasionally have a bite of chicken too?
That's fine too.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
like that's
if you
I
want
can
to.
do it. Like it's
That's like saying, what if somebody gave me all this stuff for a sandwich, but I was just eating slices of roast beef and then I occasionally took a bite of bread? That's fine. You can do that.
that's not
And you'll have a good
because
time.
that's messier. Because you're touching all that wet meat.
I would use a fork.
Pancakes, like the syrup just like rolls off, like it just falls off. Where a pancake has little cups inside of
It'll
it.
soak in.
It'll
Waffle
soak in.
has the
You
cups.
cut it. You cut the pancake and then you pour it. People always like, oh, I'm pouring it on top. Of course, when you cut open a pancake, there's sponge in there, and that soaks up and you gotta kind of.
Yeah.
They both have their place. This isn't.
Right.
This
Yeah.
is like video games.
We don't
right?
need
it's
to
like
divide
console wars.
Pancakes
Yeah.
are just breakfast though, but I think waffles can be.
I think
any
waffle
meal.
has more savory options. I'll agree on that front.
More versatility.
But
Yeah.
French toast is the real king.
I'm just
Ooh.
saying, go to an IHOP, get
maybe.
yourself a breakfast, get an omelet that comes with some pancakes because this is America, and then get a side order of mozzarella sticks with it. Live.
Yeah, I can
Which-
get behind this.
Live
Which
big.
one of
Best
the
life.
breakfast trio would you pair mozzarella sticks with?
Well, what's the trio?
Waffle.
Waffle, pancake, French toast.
Oh man.
Probably a waffle.
Probably a waffle.
The
Definitely a
crunchiness
waffle.
would be
Normally
a
I would
nice-
get, but I've literally done like an omelet with some pancakes,
Right,
some
I'm just saying,
potato
like, if
and
you
a
were
pork thing.
presenting me a meal,
Uh-huh.
and you had the centerpiece was
Yeah,
mozzarella
I'd probably
sticks.
say waffles.
Yeah.
Okay,
Then
stack of pancakes, cut out the center, stick the mozzarella sticks in there.
Okay.
And just have like a well
Yeah.
of sauce or syrup in the middle.
I don't think I would want to put a syrup on the
Now
mozzarella
I'm-
stick,
now
but
I'm-
I would try it.
I would try it.
Now I'm trying to
See? There you
picture,
go.
or now I'm trying to picture marinara in the middle of the pancakes.
Yeah, me too.
that's good
Marinara on
too.
the pancakes doesn't. I'm out. That's
Why? It's just like a pizza.
because when I want waffles, yeah, but like when I want pancakes, I want pancakes and syrup and the whole thing.
Yeah.
Sure.
I want sweet breakfasty good times.
Okay.
I'm not there for a savory pancake
Sure.
because otherwise I'll get something else. Like I just like it's fine, but it's not like top tier. I'm getting something else. I'm getting something else.
Really hungry now.
I know what I have to
No.
do this weekend.
Yeah.
It's gonna make that short stack with some marinara and mozzarella.
wanna
sticks.
What if you
come over.
okay? What if you make the giant pancake that people make in rice cookers? Because
Oh, I've done that.
yeah, I
Yeah.
did that. It didn't come out good. But what
No,
if you
neither.
did that and hollowed out the middle of it, and then you made a dipping cup for marinara sauce?
Yeah.
I smell a Ben's lens.
I'll
I'll
bring
bring my.
I'll bring my rice cooker. I got like 5. It's fine.
We'll go to the Walgreens, get some pancake mix.
Done.
What's your favorite rice cooker?
Zojirushi.
Okay.
Yeah, it plays a little. What is it? It plays a song after when the rice is done.
Mine's old, so it doesn't
Oh, okay.
play a song anymore.
Mine plays like Mary Had a Little Lamb or something when the rice is done.
Black and Decker actually make a good rice cooker
Oh, yeah?
too.
Wow. Huh. And a bandsaw.
Mm-hmm.
We've been using an old Tiger for a very long time, but I keep looking for an excuse to upgrade.
Great for making pancakes.
Little song sounds
Yeah.
sounds good.
It's a bandsaw that played a song. You might have something.
That's yeah.
Singing sauce.
Radu from Romania. How fucked up is it that in 10 years I will probably have no legal way to play Destiny 1?
Oh.
Peter Dinklage's performance is already lost to time, except for YouTube's videos, of course. But we've now reached that point where owning the game doesn't mean always being able to play the game. Some games are fucked without patches, even if they're single player. I know this is news to no one, but will piracy be the only way to play Destiny 1 in 10 years? On some weird French server? Will nothing change? Have we not reached a tipping point on some of this stuff yet?
No, most people don't care.
Yeah.
Like there's nowhere close to a tipping point on this stuff. Like no one gives a shit. By the time Destiny 1 shuts down, like you could shut Destiny 1 down right now and the level of outrage would be within
It would be small.
an acceptable parameter, you know?
I mean, I know somebody who just went back and played a bunch of Destiny 1 content that they had missed
Yeah.
like in the last week or two, so some people would be bummed.
Yeah,
but-
some people will be bummed, but
Yeah.
not enough to like where you'd be like, "Oh, we really fucked this up." And
Yeah.
you're like, some people were pissed, but
You're just talking
Uh,
about Destiny players in general, or
I mean, I think
like
he's just
all-
using it as an example
Yeah,
of
yeah.
like, here's an entire game's worth of content that is just going to like vanish from history when these
Yeah.
servers go down.
and
Yeah.
that's like, yeah, it sucks. But I think like consumers today's consumers have proven they really don't give a shit. Generally speaking.
Well, yeah.
EA's been shutting down servers for games for like old sports games and all this shit. Like segments of games have been being taken away from people for a long time. MMOs shut down. Like the private server stuff is cool, but it's not universal. So yeah, maybe in 10 years, yes, maybe someone is out there right now reverse engineering
City of
whatever.
Heroes.
Yeah, well, yeah, that already happened.
Right,
You know,
exactly.
but like, yeah, maybe someone is figuring out a way for Destiny to live on. And also, maybe an independent Bungie would have more of a say or more interest in being able to say, like, oh, we're actually just going to put out the server software, do what you want. Someday. Weird for a console game, actually.
Right.
But that's,
That's
the
on PC.
further it's not. Destiny 1's not.
That's it's not.
So that would be weird. That would actually be super weird for them to do in any kind of near term. But maybe somewhere down the line, they're like, oh, fuck it. We put this out here. Do what you want. Figure it out. Yeah, it sucks, but it's, we live in a services-based world, and people are happy to not own anything. People are happy to not own music. People are happy to not own movies. They stream them. They do all this other stuff. Like, it's the convenience factor for most consumers totally outweighs the ownership angle. Like, it's, that's not a fight for the mainstream. It probably never will be.
Also, video games are kind of this unique medium where people feel like old content sort of ages out. It's like
bit.
classic movies and music are never going to go away because people are always going to want to enjoy them, pretty much. But like a game from 10 years ago, a lot of people just look at that and think like, that's old. I don't want to play that anymore.
Right, but a game 20 years old comes
Then
back
you
in.
guess,
Right,
you get to a point where
but
it
I think
becomes
that's
retro.
Yeah, there's a thing where like things will. And I think movies probably go through some of that. Like, well, whatever. Music definitely does.
Sure.
Like, there are people now listening to Limp Bizkit in a very different way than they were 5 years ago.
Oh, man.
Which is like a fucking weird.
Oh, man.
Which is weird.
You're saying Limp Bizkit is classic rock now?
Kinda.
Okay.
Getting there.
Yeah.
Like, I never liked Limp Bizkit, but I went back and listened to some not that long ago and was like, these fucking knuckleheads.
Yeah.
It was a time. And just like, yeah, literally going like, oh, this was some stupid shit.
Yeah.
But we had fun. And
Didn't
yeah,
we?
Like,
Makes me really think of freshman year.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
jeez.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Let's do a couple more emails. Bred in New Hampshire. Subject line: I found a licensed dockable Game Boy Advance sold to mount in a car.
Yep.
Our local retro games shop in New Hampshire just received a DVD player / Game Boy Advance that sold for $1,300 from car manufacturers to mount in your vehicle. I have attached photos. The company is called Vistion. I know there's been a lot of custom stuff like that featured on Pimp My Ride and noted game console vehicle enthusiast Ludacris. But I haven't seen anything for cars like this that was officially branded and sold. Do you know of any others or similar odd peripherals?
Car Marty.
Wow, did they make that?
Yeah, the FM Towns
Well,
Car Marty.
this thing is like, it's wild. It's got the straight up Game Boy Advance logo on it, like fold out screen,
Yeah.
cart
Crazy.
slot on one side, like DVD player slot on the other.
It's pretty
It's
neat.
pretty-
It's weird.
Wow.
I would take that now.
Play a GBA on the road.
Watch some DVDs. Y'all got the Matrix.
That's fucking weird for a system that is already portable. Like the driver presumably can't play the games anyway, and if you're not driving, you could just bring your GBA.
But
Right,
you'd have
fair
a
point.
much bigger screen, though.
Yeah.
I guess so.
Oh my God.
People in the back get to watch you play the what was that GBA? Jane, you ever play that GBA card game
Which one?
with the cards and the
Yu-Gi-Oh?
monsters? Damn it!
Dragon
This is
Quest
gonna-
Monsters.
No, that was a
Duel
Game Boy
Masters.
Color. No, that's a Yu-Gi-Oh.
No, Duel Masters is different than
Okay, maybe
Duel
it was Duel
Monsters.
Masters.
Duel Masters is the one where you like swipe the cards.
yeah,
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
Duel
Duel
Masters.
Masters.
There you go.
yeah. Play Duel Masters on the go.
You're welcome.
If you type Car Marty into Google, you get a whole lot of links to places like Marty's Auto, Marty's Auto Sales, Marty's Cars, and Marty's Automotive.
Marty is maybe one of the names I would least trust from a car salesman.
These are all over the place.
But like, what about auto repair?
That's better.
Yeah.
You saying you wouldn't go to Marty's Auto Sales in Savage, Minnesota?
I'm going for different reasons.
Man, Car Marty was really the name of the product, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Holy shit. That's incredible.
Was there? I want to say there was like a Mega Drive, but maybe I'm just thinking of there was like the Mega
You're just
Jet,
thinking of
which was
driving.
Okay, yeah, you're right.
That was just for planes.
The Megajet. It was like a Nomad with no screen.
Weird.
So it was like
So you just
you could
imagine
hook it up to maybe a screen on an
Okay.
airplane.
Just
I don't
close your
know.
eyes.
Yeah.
Think of the Nomad.
I'm not 100% clear on what the fuck a Megajet is actually. now that we're talking
It's got
about this.
2B and 9S on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, 2 more emails. Alex in Minnesota. It's another naming email that I forgot to include. After listening to last week's question about naming the person's child Alucard, I was reminded of my martial arts instructor, a huge Mortal Kombat fan, naming their son Raiden.
Oh.
I think the name is pretty cool personally, but the boy has big shoes to fill.
Totally. Oh my God.
Hey, I'm Ray.
Yeah,
Okay.
okay, sure.
Raid.
Again, though, it's going to get called out in front of a
Yeah,
classroom.
the teacher's
at some
going to be
point.
like, Raiden!
Raiden.
And I'm sure when like MGS2 came out, that changed the context
Man.
of the
Yeah.
kid's name.
Yeah.
But then 4 changed it again.
Yeah.
Oh, geez.
And then Rising changed it again.
I think my son would legally change his name to Baraka at this point if he could. He's a huge fan
Hmm.
of. Oh my God. He loves the Baraka.
I think you could go with Baraka as a name after Obama.
Yeah, sure.
I find Baraka's fatalities to be the most excessive in that game.
He just wants to
He
see
always-
Baraka
he-
eat the brains.
He always goes one extra step, you know? It's like,
Yeah.
well, you didn't have to take a bite out of the brain, but you
Right.
did it.
He's hungry.
I guess so.
I'm hungry.
He needs that power.
Knowledge is power.
Mm-hmm.
There is no knowledge that is not power.
True. Throws encouraged. Sean from Canada. What is your personal red flag that tells you when to leave a party? Mine is a conga line.
Showing up.
The cops.
Been there about 12 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a no-brainer.
I'm trying to.
Honestly, it has to get that far for me.
It's-
I'm
it-
pretty down for most anything
I
to
feel
happen at a
like
party.
there's like an escalation of drug use that like once it goes past
Yeah.
like a certain tier of substances, I'm like, I gotta get out of here.
Yeah.
There's Smash Brothers on the main TV.
Yeah, that's same. That's the tier
Out.
of drug use.
Yeah.
All right. There you have it.
Or
Yeah.
violence. Like there's also
yeah.
like there's a certain amount of violence that is within like an acceptable parameter, but beyond that you're like, okay.
Like a fight.
Yeah.
Like not just like people being dumbasses and pushing each other around or
If
something.
someone like lets you know they have a knife, that's one thing. If they have it out, that's the line. That's like, okay, we gotta go.
If it escalates to the having it out or like taking off a shirt is a good sign. Like if both
Taking off a shirt is a good sign of just like, oh, we gotta see what's up. And then there's that cautious of just like, okay, if they're just
Yeah.
fighting, this is a great party.
that's like a yellow flag.
Yeah, that's like, okay, we need to observe and monitor this
Be
situation.
ready to leave.
Be ready to
Make
leave.
sure you know where
Or
everyone is.
fucking go nuts. Get your phone out. World Star. Or, yeah. Yeah.
All right.
If you're throwing the party, you can't leave.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
You'd be surprised.
I thought about it.
I've left parties that I've
No.
We had to call
just
the
passed
cops
out upstairs
on our
I
own
was
party
out.
multiple times.
I've done that.
A girl that was at the party ran in and grabbed a baseball bat out from under my bed to go like solve some
somebody
shit.
else.
Did you
Yeah.
pretend it wasn't your house?
No,
Okay. I definitely did.
no.
It's like, yeah, I'd like to file a noise complaint.
You know what? I didn't actually make the call. Someone else did,
Okay.
so I didn't actually have to.
They
someone who
probably
didn't
did
live there
the
called.
Yeah, my neighbor is like going crazy right now. The people who live there are great though. Like you shouldn't bother them.
Yeah.
It's really the guests. There's a couple bad eggs.
Yeah.
Greg is there. You know.
Oh,
Greg.
you know Greg. You want him anyway.
How'd she know the bat was there?
It's a long story.
Okay.
Sometimes you just need to keep battery.
Jeff was wearing his "Ask Me About the Bat Under My Bed" shirt.
Yeah.
All right. There's your party survival guide. Bombcast@giantbomb.com is the email address. Let's talk about video games now.
Yeah.
What shall we?
I'm ready to go do the after show after that, and my brain is all backwards.
Yep. It's time to flip the script.
This is messed up,
mother
Brad.
effer.
Maybe that's why I was hungrier than I actually was.
Yeah.
Emails send
Yeah.
signals to your stomach.
Yeah.
Bloodstained.
Yeah, Ritual of the Night.
Yeah, that's probably the big new release.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Apparently it's not bad.
I like it.
I really enjoy it. I think it's very flawed in a lot of areas. Not even a lot of areas.
You're further in than I am then, because
Yeah.
I'm still like, this is good.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm almost done with it. I think I believe I'm on the second to last boss of like the true ending route or whatever. You know,
Are you in an upside down castle? All right, I guess don't answer that.
I'm not going to
Don't
answer.
it.
I hear this game is very faithful to its
Yeah, let's just say he really has got
inspiration.
even to back out to a top level thing. This is just straight up Symphony of the Night 2, like in
Okay.
everything except
Yeah.
name.
All right.
You know, it has that feel. So it like
I fired it up, and even like the sort of cadence of the intro and the way the VO was delivered in that intro
Absolutely.
movie, like it
Yeah.
all feels like it's exactly
super
that.
cheesy.
Yeah.
Okay, here's what this game has: a very cheesy story that's delivered way over the top.
Yeah.
Every weapon's got a special move that you can do a cool input in and make it do like a Hadouken.
Yeah.
Does it say the name of the enemies when you hit them for
Once
the first
you
time?
kill them,
Yep.
once
Okay.
you get the name of the enemy, it freezes and you get a bunch of cool lights swirling around you whenever you get a level up. Have I covered
That's
all the
it.
bases?
I mean,
That's
most
enough
of
of
it.
them.
There's the
to-
back dash.
Do you
Yeah,
run?
yeah, the back
Do you
dash.
run through hallways where the music fades out and there's a little CD above the?
It doesn't say
Almost.
CD, but those rooms are definitely in that
Yeah,
game.
those like
Okay.
loading rooms. Are
Okay.
But they're more like on
prevalent.
fire than.
Okay, sure.
Yeah. But like that transition room is absolutely in there.
Great.
But they've added a bunch of stuff on top of.
Totally.
Yeah, like
Yes.
crafting and stuff, and like missions where you've got to kill 5 of these enemies.
Oh,
and-
like side quests.
Yeah.
type
Those
stuff?
are all like that's all
Huh.
Kickstarter stuff, right? Because like every single one of those is like avenge Dan.
So no, those are Castlevania characters. Every
Oh.
one of those characters, there's like Richter and Simon and Belmont,
There's
and
like Dr. Simon. Yeah.
Okay.
and you're
And I just figured that
avenging
that
the
was, like-
death of Castlevania. Somebody pointed that out in the comments of the quick
Interesting.
look.
I figured that was just like someone they wanted to insert the name Dr. Simon into the game as a Kickstarter backer.
sounds
but-
like
No, that person just has a portrait of them instead.
Yeah.
It's like it's just Iga's extremely subtle symbolism.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
This game is very subtle.
Are you on PC?
I am.
Okay.
That
I
is
hear
the
I hear
way
that I
to
hear that
play
is like
it.
the only platform worth playing it on right
Really?
now.
Oh.
I'm playing on launch PS4, and it has had some areas of, I would say, minor slowdown, and then one area where I am fighting a boss right now, and it's literally single-digit frames when he does his like special attack, which you're supposed to like dodge.
Yeah.
And it's like actually kind of unplayable to a degree. And I've heard this was a problem that was introduced in the last patch.
Oh, weird.
So
it could
fixable.
be fixed.
I got like a press. Did anybody get that press release from them last week about their 1.02 update?
Yeah.
Which broke save files.
saw this on Twitter.
Started from before
So
that
I
patch.
restarted. I wasn't sure if I started the game
Or
before
did-
that patch was out.
Yeah.
But I was not that far in, and having played the intro already, it took me 10 minutes to get back to
Oh,
where
so
I
you
was.
followed their advice of, we're not sure when we can fix this. You should probably just restart from
Restart.
the beginning.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, and I was not deep enough into where that mattered. But yeah, that's a shitty situation.
I was
also.
lucky
It sounds
enough
like
to
the
start-
Switch version is a shitty situation.
It looks like it.
Yeah. It was running even worse than the PS4 one.
Yeah.
Digital Foundry did a little thing.
well, it runs at 30 FPS, but also people said the image quality is just not good.
It's not. There's less effects like on enemy
Yeah.
death, on
Yeah.
level up, and stuff like that. There's just less particles and stuff on screen.
I want more particles.
The art, like speaking of the art, that's kind of maybe one of my less. I like the enemy design. So I looked it up. They have I forget her name, Kojima, something Kojima, but
Ayami,
she was she did a lot of Castlevania design. Like
Yeah, she
enemy
did. She was
design
the
and-
character designer for Symphony of the Night.
Yeah, and she's working on this game, or at least at some capacity, she was listed in the Kickstarter
Yeah.
as like contributors. And so I think like the enemy design is really cool. There's some cool looking monsters and stuff, but then there's some stuff in that game, like there's areas that straight up look unfinished, like the backgrounds of certain areas that are just like kind of what's like white marble floor with very low detail and like a bookcase here and there. There's some stuff that looks really good, like. But you have to be just even on an access level, you have to be okay with that like 3D on 2D style of art, that like a lot of modern
Which I think-
indie games go for.
I think it's fine. I think
think it's
that
fine.
look is fine, but there's the area with the two towers. Whereas,
Yeah.
so it's that like it's just straight up hard to parse sometimes. And I think some of that's maybe deliberate, but like you're just like, okay, I ran around this thing. Like if you're looking at the map and the way things rotate in the background, it doesn't make a lot of sense.
Yes, because you're like slowly moving up, but then you like
You're kind of running around a tower, so they kind of try to make it
'Cause
like,
you're, like,
well, I
trying to
went around
represent it on
and
a
now I can
2D
drop through this
map.
to get there, but they represent it on a 2D map, and it just is funky.
yeah. There's a boss fight that's like that. That's like that too on a kind of like a flat circle, and it's hard to tell. Like your weapon still goes out on a 2D plane, even though the movement is curved in 3D. So you can still like there were instances of I didn't know if I was going to be able to hit him because like my
he was
weapon
too far away. Yeah,
is
yeah.
technically the hitbox is traveling, but it's
So like he's too far into the background for your weapon to connect or something.
Yeah, there's some weird stuff here and there that's just like it's like mostly like I think a polish issue, like it kind of like we're running low on time. We need to get this fucking
Yeah,
video
maybe,
game
yeah.
out.
I like the character designs. I think the story, like the voice acting, is good for what they're going for.
Sure.
I think the name Jeeble is real stupid, and I really appreciate
Oh, I
it.
know. Yeah. This is much improved. Like I played this not this past E3, but the one before.
Yeah, same here, and it was.
Yeah,
not-
I've appreciated the changes for
yeah.
sure.
So that-
especially
like I recognize the
visual
area I
fidelity.
played back then in
Yep.
the game still.
Totally.
But man,
That
yeah.
seems to be like that's actually the biggest story I think about this because yeah, like a word out of like every backer demo they put out was like this doesn't feel right, like, it
Right.
doesn't play well. So then the final game comes out and everybody's like, oh, this plays well.
Yep.
It does
Like
the stuff
they brought it together.
like the combat is like nicely active. It does a lot of that same stuff of just like jump and then attack and then land and attack immediately
And
again.
then backdash and
then
attack
backdash and, like,
immediately
keep-
again.
but, like,
you get
the-
3 hits in
you
like
really,
a half second.
You cancel out of that backdash into attacks and all this other stuff. Like that stuff just I think feels good.
That's
I think
the best thing in the game is
their
it
magic
feels
system I think is
good.
really nice. I think all the different abilities you get from the shards are like fun to fuck around
I
with.
like all the different weapons quite a bit. Like
Yeah.
each of the, even though I like just kind of jumped around for whatever I had the highest strength weapon of. Like so there.
Have you used any of the 8-bit coins or 16-bit coins?
Yeah,
I used a
Okay.
couple of them.
All right.
Yeah. I like great swords feel good. The katana feels great. It has got this weird like low to mid hitbox. They do something really cool where you eventually unlock the ability. I think this should just be in the game by default. Like we talked about this on the quick look, but you can just hot swap between loadouts. And it can
Okay.
be not only just like weapon, but complete inventory, your spell setup, everything. You can kind of customize, and the system for it's really good. Like it's really easy to change them on the fly, and it's instant once you swap too. You can like be in midair and just swap to your other weapon and just swing right away.
There's a lot of weapon variety. Like I feel like I remember Symphony of the Night had like a bazillion weapons.
I'd say there's like maybe like 10 classes
Okay.
of weapon, and then
Which
like
Symphony's kind of similar.
10
yeah.
of each.
All right.
Yeah.
The gun even feels good. Like
Oh yeah.
you
Yeah.
can do some trick stuff. And then, yeah, like Jason, you touched on it, there's like a whole there's almost like a Monster Hunter level of crafting you can get into and like prep. There's different types of
how do you,
ammo.
Where do you farm? I got like rice seeds and like I need
Oh,
rice.
that
to
kind of
build
like the
farming?
dishes.
first gate of the castle where you go to
Yeah.
the left.
Okay, I
There's a
knew
I'm
it. I
about to
fucking knew
finish
it.
the game and I just found
Yeah. I was
Like
thinking about it,
literal-
and I was like,
literal
I
farming?
bet I need to
Literal
run to the
farming.
left. I bet
Like,
I need to run
you
back
give-
and
you
do it
give this
there.
guy
But I didn't
seeds
actually go
and,
do
like
it.
raising a garden.
So
Yeah.
you give him seeds, and then he'll give you like you give him potato seeds, and then after like a certain amount of in-game time, you can go back and he gives you 10 potatoes. And the craft, so there's like weapon crafting, there's bullet crafting, there's all sorts of stuff. You can get like status effect bullets and stuff like that. But then like also you're making food, and the food like the first time you make a food, it'll give you a permanent stat increase. And so I would say my best piece of advice is try and make as many smoothies as you can early, because that's the first way you can get passive mana regen.
Oh, okay.
All the different smoothies will give you
Yeah.
kind of passive mana regen.
Well, there's been stuff like, like I've got all the ingredients to like make a meal except for rice, and it's like, oh, I guess I need to farm the rice,
Yeah.
huh? Because I get rice seeds.
But the cooking is crazy in that game. You have to like make so you get the ingredients for
there's-
pizza dough,
is
and you
there
make
actually
pizza
a
dough.
fucking mini game? Oh, it's just multiple
And then
stages.
you get
Okay,
like
yeah.
sauce and cheese, and then that makes a cheese pizza, and then you can add pepperoni to make a pepperoni pizza. Like there's so many levels.
And there's a
of-
permanent upgrade for each one of those, right?
Yep.
Because it's like the first time you make a food, but then you can eat the food and get some kind of passive or temporary buff.
So the first time you eat the food, it gives you like they all have health or mana regen, but then also you'll get a permanent
Okay.
stat boost.
Like I've yet to been able to eat any food a few hours in. I'm only a few hours in.
Yeah.
But it was still that feeling of like, oh, I've got shards in every category and also stuff. Like cooking seems to be the one thing I haven't figured out, or this like camera thing. I don't know.
Oh yeah. The nice thing is like there's tons of depth and stuff there, but if you just want to like get in there and play Castlevania and not worry about any of that stuff, you totally can.
Yeah.
It's like
Seems like it, yeah.
I made it, I would say, a good 2/3 of the game before I really started like exploring with the alchemy crafting stuff.
Game sounds super cool.
It is.
I really want to play it. It just sounds like maybe wait for another couple of patches first.
Yeah. How, Jason, you've been playing?
On PS4, yeah.
How far are you roughly? Would you say?
Handful of hours.
Okay, I'm running into an issue where the bosses are just really easy.
Oh, really?
Like,
Well,
I got-
that's a good thing. I think it's weapon dependent. Like,
Yeah, I got
provided
this
you're good with
one
that.
directional. So you have like different. You can assign like 5 different spells at the same time. There's like an active with triangle. There's an active that you can aim and press.
Yeah.
So I have one of those actives that you aim and press. The heretical grinder is basically like a drill, and you can just like point in the direction. And I just am blowing. I've only I've had 2 rough boss fights, which is kind of weird for a Castlevania game. I expected to be like more punishing, but
Yeah.
I guess I'm playing on normal. So
The first time I faced that, what the fuck's his name?
The sword guy?
Yeah, the sword guy.
Yeah.
I had a little bit of trouble with that fight.
Zengetsu?
Yeah, because I hadn't had most of the spells or any of that other stuff unlocked.
Yeah.
But I got the shard from the arrow guy that basically
True
is like
arrow?
true arrow, which is like a
Yeah.
shotgun blast of arrows. Level that up to like rank 5 or something because I just had enough gear to do it. And that thing fucks people up.
Yeah,
so
dude.
it's like that on boss fights is just like emptying my magic meter into that. And then for my Y button one, I'm using like the flail, like the head flail one.
Yeah.
And that was good, but then I got True Arrow, and I'm like, I'm not even using that anymore. It's
Yeah.
just a waste. So yeah,
Does it respawn enemies every time you leave and
Yeah.
return to a screen?
Mhm.
Okay.
And so every enemy has like a shard, they call it, which is an ability you can get from them. And then so you get the first one, like it has they have a fairly high drop rate, I would say. I get them like if I go through an area, I pretty
Yeah.
much get one of everything, like from the start of the area to the end. But then you can grind out because having multiple shards will increase the power, and then you can even further go in and upgrade it. Like with alchemy, you have like an alchemist back at the base who will be like, okay, bring me steel, and I'll upgrade your like summon sword familiar, and
That sounds cool.
yeah,
I got the sword familiar. That's I got
cool.
rolling with me.
Does it seem,
It's a floating fucking ghost sword.
seem like
It
it's
just says
got
die.
pretty reasonably long? Like, it sounds like there's a lot of depth. I'm just wondering how much time you have to, like,
I'm at.
explore this stuff as you go through it.
So I think I'm at like 80% map completion, and I think that's like I don't think it's gonna go much beyond. It might be like a little 101 point something or whoever, but I don't think this is gonna be like a 200%er. I'm at 12 hours,
Okay. All right.
so
not
I've
bad.
got probably like an hour left of story, and then I'll clean some stuff up. So I wouldn't be surprised if I spent somewhere around 20 hours with this game. Last piece of advice I'll give people is don't watch the trailer that they put out for the 13 DLCs.
Oh, yeah.
Because that reveals a heck of a lot of late game stuff that you don't want to see before you play that game.
Is that the same trailer that opens with Iga with a guy on a rack, like a medieval torture device, and he's like
Oh
turning?
no,
Or that's a different
that
trailer?
was the we made our graphics look good.
That was like the
trailer.
launch trailer, I think, where it starts with him.
Yeah,
It starts with him just every turn of the rack, and this guy going like he's like
Sure.
he's saying like 13 free DLCs. We'll prove,
okay, that was
prove
yeah.
the critics wrong.
Yeah,
Actually, I have an email about that game that I forgot to read. I'm just going to read it really fast from Matt in Baltimore.
Oh shit.
I recently watched the quick look for Bloodstained and took to the PlayStation Store to consider a purchase. In case you haven't seen the game pages attached video in the PlayStation Store, that may be the same video. Yeah, I think this might be the one I was just talking about. It features a barrage of screen caps depicting online criticism of Bloodstained's earlier reveals,
Yeah.
a live-action Koji Igarashi downing a glass of wine, tossing it to the ground, and vowing to, quote, prove them wrong,
yeah.
and a montage of side-by-side animations demonstrating the game's improvements, labeling the two opposing frames as poop and new. It's both bizarre and wonderful. As someone new to the title, it was a strange way to be pitched the game in the PlayStation Store.
Totally.
It's a
But,
weird-
like one of
yeah.
the quotes like referred to the graphics as poop, and that's why. Like it should have been in quotes, I think.
Okay,
It totally was not, and
I see.
yeah, it came off a little strange.
I see.
It's ridiculous. But yeah, like when I played that game a couple years ago, it just seemed okay at best. It was like this feeling of like, oh, they're kind of making
It
it,
felt
and it just
so
didn't
off,
feel
yeah.
right. And It didn't look great, but you're like, okay, well, it'll come out and maybe it'll be all right. But they have exceeded expectations based on that demo.
Totally.
I'm having a good time with it.
I really, if you're like a big Castlevania game,
I am a big Castlevania game
fan. Thank you.
No,
No,
I'm not a fan.
Well,
I
Jeff,
the game.
then you're gonna love Bloodstained because
what are you, like a Castlevania 64 or?
No, I'm one of the big ones.
You're Simon's Quest or something?
No, I'm one of the big ones.
2. Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing I really appreciate about this game is just the castle design, the layout. It's huge. Like, I think this is like the biggest. And I keep saying Castlevania, that you can't not bring up other Castlevanias in the conversation of this game, because his whole pitch was, I am going to make a Castlevania the way you remember it, but I can't legally call it Castlevania.
Well, I think that kind of there's positives and negatives to that, right? Because it's like it's so faithful to a very old template that, like the genre has been blowing up for the past 5 years with tons of other games, from Ori to like even Hollow Knight. Like there are a bunch of different takes on that type of stuff. A bunch of different riffs on the concept that have expanded it in different ways, like time spinners and stuff like that. To where this feels like a weird throwback in a way, and like I think some people will be super rubbed the wrong way by it because they'll be like, "Man, this like doesn't do half the stuff that some of these other games do." But I think it's a weird kind of throwback in a sense, but I think it works.
Yeah.
As a fan of Symphony of the Night, and then like a less fan but still into all those portable games that came after, like I'm having a really good time with it.
Yeah. He not. I say he. I'm sure everyone. I'm sure there are multiple people involved in the design and stuff, but like it feels really well thought out. It doesn't feel like some of those less good Castlevania likes that have come out in the meantime feel kind of like they had a general idea of the layout of what they wanted to do and then just kind of filled in spots here and there.
Yeah.
This feels like very the placement of the warp rooms and save rooms feel very deliberate. It feels like a good length of challenging but not unforgiving between save points and stuff like that. You're kind of constantly working outwards in a really cool way. This feels like somebody who has had a lot of time to think about Castlevania of old and how to modernize it and put that into practice, and it shows. And I really hope that, like, now that this game is made, and there's going to be some DLCs and some post game support, but like I'm already honestly looking forward to a sequel. Like I would love if he got to make another one of these style of games. I think that there's totally a market for like every few years, just like one of these types of Castlevania games to come out.
I wonder how well it'll do. I mean, like it kickstarted fine, but I wonder like how well it sells now, because it is like $35 on sale. I think it's like 40 normal, right? Like that's
pushing.
That seems steep. Like when you talk about it as like a game you're getting 20 hours out of and all that sort of stuff, like it starts to make more sense. But I think the way indie games have been priced lately and the way they've been sold on Steam and all, like the games in the similar genre being sold for half the price, in some ways better than this, like the 40's a lot. So it's kind of like you're buying in thinking like, well, this DLC stuff that's coming for free had better be good, because it kind of has to flesh this whole thing out a little bit more.
Yeah.
But that's weird. I don't know. Like games are weird now. Money's weird. Money's even weirder than games.
Last super random question: do you see the armor that you equip
Oh,
on the character? Because you
yeah.
didn't in Symphony. It's just stats basically.
not
but-
all of it, but
Not armor, just accessories.
yeah,
like the
like
head.
I've got a stone mask.
Oh, interesting.
But
which
then you can
is
also
pretty crazy.
change your hairstyle. You can change your skin color, your hair color, your outfit's colors.
separate from the gear, like the loot
Yeah.
you're getting. Oh,
Yes,
okay.
there's like a barber.
I
who will-
got to that point, and it's really good.
Yeah.
It's really dumb. It's really dumb.
And it's fun. Some of the things have like effects. Like I have a voice changer equipped, and it just
Oh, really?
pitched up all of her moves. She screams slightly higher now when she does moves. And
That's weird.
All right, my one more question. I keep finding books for recipes. What do I like for like a better heal or something like that? But what do I do with them?
those will automatically, I believe the case is, those are automatically unlocking the ability to craft those items with your alchemy.
Okay,
dude.
so I thought I had to like take them to him and cash them in, but I couldn't find a way to do that.
I looked for a while, and then I realized I like noticed some things I could craft I didn't have before, and just assumed it was that.
Okay.
Samurai Showdown out today?
It
Yeah,
I
is.
think it's out today.
Yeah.
Right.
I
If
played
you think
a
you're
bunch
gonna
last night.
if you think you're gonna buy that game ever, The season pass is a free download
Till the
right
30th,
now.
I think.
Yeah, that you should just go put on your account in case you end up with a copy of that game.
Is that going
someday.
to be characters?
I think it's
Yeah.
I think they're just
I
like
forgot how
our
many
season
they
pass is free
pitched,
till the
but-
30th. Yeah,
Yeah, that's
Oh, that's intentional.
pretty
It's not.
generous.
That's not a. Okay.
yeah.
Not a glitch. No, I think we're going to be kind of divisive on this.
Yeah.
I tuned into the quick look that you guys did, and you were complaining about the movement, how it felt sluggish and
Yeah.
whatnot. And I totally get that. Like the move speed is a little bit slower, but I think everything else I'm a big fan of. To be honest, it's a very, very neutral game. This is definitely a game for somebody who, like me, who isn't that great at doing like long ass combos. That really just wants to focus on the fundamentals.
Right.
And I think doing the back and forth like sword clash stuff, like I think feels like old Sam show. Like
I think elements of it do. For me, it's the speed of the light attacks is reduced
a little bit.
compared to some of those games. The player movement overall, I think, feels just like overly stiff. Yeah, it's like they're definitely going for that, right? They want it to be that big neutral game. They want it to feel like that, like two warriors standing off, waiting for the first one to make a move. Like they're making that game for sure.
It's
I just think
extremely footsie based, yeah.
Yeah, and that's cool. I think they went a little too far in that direction for my taste,
Like
in a way that kind of.
I can see where people would think that it feels very dated, and in fact, it looks kind of dated as well. Like
the graphics are not
are
great.
not the best. Like in motion, I think it's animated well.
Yeah.
But still shots, I'm like, ew.
Like their art is not not great. Animation good.
Yep.
I would say on that quick look, you complained about the backgrounds at one point. I hadn't seen a ton of them. We were on the boat, which is maybe like the most lively and best one, just because there's other people there. And I was like, I think the backgrounds in this game look fine.
But in comparison to like the old ones, like if you look at old Samurai Shodown, see, I played a bunch of that yesterday in preparation, and it's just like the art and everything about that game is so good.
I think that's my issue. Is like I'm not necessarily like, oh, this should be fast like every other fighting game. It's,
Right.
it's more like, as a fan of the early Samurai Shodown games, I don't think this captures enough of that to get me excited about it. And some of the feel of like when you're landing Howermer's like Dragon Punch thing, and
Sure.
when you're using the heavy slash, like it just goes up too far after the hit in
Yeah,
a way
sometimes.
that's just like, it's not adding, it just feels bad
Okay.
in cases like that. And so you have this case of like, sometimes the movement feels too stiff and limiting. Like I just can't get where I want to stand at the rate that I feel like I should be able to. And then you have other moves that feel like weirdly floaty and off. And it just, some of that stuff just is a little inconsistent, I think.
I've got to play against more people.
Yeah, I
Before
want to fight people now
Yeah.
that it's out, and see how the online does also.
I've heard good stuff about the online so far, but I played a bunch last night. I've watched a couple streams where because this game has been out to like content creators for like a week now, so I've tuned into a bunch of streams, and it looks like they were having a good time. I mean, that's completely anecdotal, but from what I've played so far, I've really enjoyed the throwback. I think it doesn't quite reach the heights, obviously, that like a Sam Show 2 does, but I think it does it better than most other fighting games.
Yeah,
Right now, like modern ones.
Yeah, I think that they had some ideas, and I think some are hit, some are miss. Like I guess I don't like some of the system stuff, even of just like the rage burst into the double rage burst, like that attack.
Yeah.
Like it just kind of highlights that the art doesn't look great, and then
Yeah,
You know.
perhaps. I like the mechanic though. Because,
Yeah.
man, it puts you on the defensive
Yeah.
like right away. As soon as that pops, it's like
you're like, okay,
anything
I need
you
to
do,
I need to get out of here.
I need to get the fuck
Yeah.
away from this guy.
But then, like having like a super, you can just do once per fight, but you can do it any time, and divorcing that from the rage
The rage
gauge
meter,
stuff.
yeah.
I think I don't. As they
But
made some choices, and I think some hit and some don't. And, I think that's my main issue with it. Is I just think I think some of the decisions they made are like don't make the game more fun.
Right.
Uh,
Fair enough. Fair enough. But yeah, I think I'm on the other side of the fence with that. I'm enjoying the throwback for sure.
I also want to play more people. I feel like it's easy. I was playing in training mode, and I was like, I'm pretty okay with how the this feels, and I started playing against Jeff, and for some reason I had a worse time with that. So I feel like I need to just spread out and play this game. And I'm really, really curious to see what this looks like at Evo. you know?
Yeah, totally.
I bet that like that could be a really exciting to watch at like a tournament level. Like the idea of just like, okay, because if you do get that kind of standoffish, like, okay, we are just keeping space and waiting for someone to fuck up at their ability to keep space.
I saw a clip
and then get clipped like that. That's
I saw a clip of Sam Show 2 tournament where the round started and a character walked to the other character into the corner, and then they just sat there literally till like 2 seconds
Waiting
left,
until-
and like both did a move at the same time.
Yeah.
Because it was like if either of them got a counter hit, they would just win the game based on their characters and the momentum stuff. So like if that is represented at Evo even a little bit. It'll be a cool it'll be especially cool if it's like in between like Tekken and something else that's really high octane and just like
That almost sounds like it's like halfway to Bushido Blade.
Yeah,
where it's
I
like
think
one
that's
wrong
the thing
move and that's the match.
Is I would almost like at that point, if that's the game they're going to make, I would almost rather see like a full-fledged new Bushido Blade.
Yeah.
That really kind of like quadruples down on that idea. But
yeah, you mentioned that frequently there's situations in which like 2 hits will kill someone. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah. A normal heavy attack will do like
25 to 30 or something.
I would
Right?
say even half.
Wow.
Got a counter hit.
Yeah, that stuff.
That sounds.
And you pair that with the lightning blade like super type thing and Dunzo.
Wow.
Yeah.
That sounds like a cool idea.
Yeah.
Yeah,
If people are good
they're
at
in a
it.
space for it in fighting games for sure.
Yep.
That's like Grand Blue almost reminded me of it too. I mean, it's a little faster for sure, but like the idea of a kind of slower, more footsie based fighting game. There have been tons of people who have taken shots at it, but nothing's really stuck so far.
Yeah.
Anybody mess around with that Shang Tsung at all?
A little bit.
What do you think?
I like a second variation, a little bit better than the first, the Fireball heavy one, but
Okay.
these are not the tournament, ready ones.
Oh, yeah.
I guess I'm just doing the casual. But no, he seems very, very cool. He's great in practice.
Seems like more of a zoning kind of character
totally,
than I was expecting.
Yeah, mid range, zoning.
A lot of
especially
projectiles, a lot of
that first variation in particular.
The ground skulls are really frustrating to get hit by. Like if you amplify them, it'll bounce you back.
Yeah,
So
is
it's
that
like you
the
get
one that
bounced
you-
out.
the
No,
sh-
the
the ones that you
up from the ground.
Oh, I don't think I've tried that.
So it's like a pop, pop, pop to knock you out, and then pop, pop, pop back in to get hit again. And
then you drop a corpse on there.
Yeah.
It's
so
fucking great.
Yes, drop a goddamn corpse.
Oh God,
and
he's
then
got a
you're
corpse
Ermac
drop.
for a half second.
yeah.
Yeah, it's goofy.
He's
it's
a weird
cool, though.
character. Like one of his abilities is just a straight up heal. You
Yeah.
seen that one? It's weird.
I'm not sure if I saw that one.
You conjure a little urn that floats in front of you.
Oh,
and then
really?
when you pop it, it just heals you.
Okay.
Like it's just a weird ability for a fighting game character to have. But
Yeah, he's got some weird moves that use like the stance change button to like, cast spells.
Yes, you
It's,
can
like,
cast a
real-
spell on the other guy to either make them do less damage or take more damage.
Crazy.
It's just like a hex kind of thing. He's a weird character.
But
He
I've
seems
been
really rad.
I've been mostly playing the Combat League stuff.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, did you actually get into that?
Yeah.
I was afraid to try it. Like,
Yeah.
I just
I've been doing okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
How does it work? Are you like earning points
earn
that
points.
you cash in on
I think
stuff? Or
I forget, Jason. It might have been you that said this, but maybe I saw it somewhere else. But like, it's basically when you get to the third tier, the third grade, basically, is when you start losing points for losses.
Oh.
So
Yeah, that's a fairly standard
yeah.
thing now for like games with seasons.
right.
is-
So you can, but the thing is, like, you can get most of the cosmetic stuff. Not most. You probably get about half the cosmetic stuff by just getting to that rank. And
even the like full character skins.
so they have season challenges that are separate from your rank, and it's like, okay, if you hit 25 fatal blows, you'll get a brutality. If you spill this much blood, you'll get this, and the reward for completing all of the season challenges is a scorpion skin.
Oh,
As a scorpion player, that means that's all I want. Like, the higher tiers come with more time crystals, and there are, I think there's like a katana skin, or there are
I
other
like
skins
that katana
up
skin.
there, but you can still get a lot of it out of it by just engaging with the system long enough to hit rank 3 or whatever it is.
Cool.
So it's not. I think people were really, really, really unhappy at first, but I think looking at how they built it, it is less bad than people think.
all right.
Unless you happen to want an item that is the very top of the ladder. But
I mean, that makes sense from a developer's point of view, right? It's like you want people to continue playing the game. It doesn't matter to you if they win or lose.
exactly, if they're continuing to engage, give them something to say, please keep playing the game, and hey, maybe buy some stuff someday. I don't know. Yeah,
Have they said how long this first one lasts?
30 days.
Oh wow, shit! I better get in there then.
Yeah, because one of the season challenges is to basically play 5 sets a day for 10 different days.
Different day. They don't have to be consecutive days.
No, they don't have to be
Okay.
consecutive.
Okay. So
But
you still
like one
you'd
of
have
them.
to get
Damn.
you have to get started pretty soon
Yeah.
on that.
Yeah.
All right, I'll check that out.
Yeah.
Chan, you want to talk about this weird Harry Potter phone
Yeah.
AR extravaganza thing
Yeah.
real fast?
So I feel like Niantic kind of listened to people saying how Pokemon Go is a little bit too simplistic.
Did they make this too?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
I didn't
they've been
realize
working
that.
on this for a while.
Yeah. And took all that into account and made a very, very complicated phone game. But it's with the Harry Potter trappings, and it's kind of neat because when you get into the game, you're greeted with like a bunch of voiceovers, and like they're setting up a whole story rather than just how in Pokemon Go you're just thrown into the universe catching Pokemon. And like, hey, there's all these confoundables out in the world, and they all fit to this certain category, and then it just keeps going and going and going. So the whole gist of the game is you're encountering these things called foundables, and you're supposed to catch them, or else the Muggle world will find out about wizards. And we can't have that. We cannot have that. So you're a recruit of the Ministry, and Hermione Granger, Harry Potter, some familiar names. They're talking to you directly, saying like, "Hey, we need your help, buddy."
Is Ron there?
I haven't run into Ron yet.
Good.
Yeah. He should have died in book 6. I'm just saying.
Is Randy Pitchford there?
Oh,
You got to keep the Muggles from finding this stuff out.
He's the Muggle that found out.
Shit.
Oh no.
Ron Weasley is a representative.
That's
of the
the
people.
most ice cold diss I think you can throw in that dude's direction.
I will say at E3, I think I saw him on the show floor, and his bodyguard pushed me out of the way, and I didn't even know who he was at the time. Anyway,
Some Tommy Tallarico types.
but it's very there's a crap ton of more systems in this than there are in Pokemon Go, because not only are there Pokestop equivalents and gym equivalents, but there's greenhouses and inns where you rebuild your spell energy instead of getting more Pokeballs. And there's like fortresses, which are like the gym equivalents where you take down with other players.
Is all this stuff kind of locked to physical locations in the world?
Yes.
Like you have to go places to get to all of this?
Yeah, but I've noticed that the stuff that spawns in that you're supposed to catch are kind of spawning in more sporadically to where I'm at versus having to go somewhere specifically like you do in Pokemon Go.
Mhm.
I'm having fun with it. My girlfriend and I were playing it over the weekend instead of Pokemon Go, and it was kind of neat. But the problem is this wears the mobile game of like pay to win or pay things to go faster, like totally right there up in front. Versus Pokemon Go, where you can kind of get by just playing free to play. But here it's like, hey, like you could brew these potions if you had all the ingredients for 5 gold. That and like on top of that, the other like timers and everything, like they're totally advertising of like spend more gold to make this go by faster, which is kind of a bummer.
Yeah.
I was with some people who were playing it over the weekend, and they were saying the like energy depletion rate was a little higher than they wanted, and just it's even more insulting when you see all the like deals of
Exactly.
getting to reset it. Yeah.
And some of the interface stuff is a little bit clunky. It's you have to go like 3 steps to get rid of something in your inventory, versus in Pokemon Go, it's like a click and a half ish. I'd say this game is totally like the last 3 Harry Potter movies in that it's too dark. Like aesthetically, it is too dark. And then like after playing this all weekend, I opened up Pokemon Go today and was like, wow, this is so bright and friendly. And I'm a fan of the Harry Potter universe or whatever it's called now. And I guess it just doesn't have the same charm for whatever reason that Pokemon Go has.
Is there a lot of like post books stuff, and like is there a lot of Fantastic Beasts stuff?
Yeah, like so you're filling out these like sticker sheets, and each different sticker sheet kind of has like a different category of stuff. So there's like a Fantastic Beast one, there's a Quidditch one. These are the main characters in Harry Potter that you're filling out. And I don't know what it is. I mean, like the guy that they got to be Harry Potter sounds a lot like Daniel Radcliffe, so that's pretty neat. But I just think it's the one complaint that I've seen from a couple Pokemon Go friends is that they're not quite sure what to do in Wizards Unite. That like there's so much going on that like I don't know what to focus on. Rather than Pokemon, you're just like catch them all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll keep poking around with it. I'll see where it goes. I'm a professor in the game, y'all.
I'd love to figure out a way to like record a video of you just going outside, walking around with.
We got iPads. We got a Zoom recorder.
Yeah.
Let's walk around the block.
I'm sure there's plenty of stuff around here.
Oh, there is.
How many
There is.
wizards have you united?
Just me and my girlfriend.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are there clans like the Pokemon?
I think the clans. So you sort yourself into a house, and like I think the
You
bummer.
sort yourself?
Yeah, the bummer is like like Pottermore. You take the quiz to find out which house you're in, or like they could have even
That's a
incorporated
huge
Trying
part
to
of
trying to
it.
put
Yeah.
the hat out of work, man. What the hell?
exactly.
You can't say what class you
You
belong
need
in
to be able
unless
to
you're
join.
fucking
You
Harry
need to be able to
Potter.
unite with your friends. They need you to be able to play with your friends.
Yeah.
Then figure out
Like
this is an inner.
It was the
you don't
ingress. It was the
understand.
ingress problem of like if you chose the wrong team in ingress, then your city was all the other team. You were fucked.
See, but
I was the one blue player in a red territory, and it was like, well, there's not enough of me around to
Right,
do
okay.
anything.
But blue and red aren't like your house, Jeff. That's like the main thing of Harry
That's your
Potter.
personality.
That is like
That can form friendships. That's your family.
Yeah, are you a jock or a nerd or a
could've-
fascist?
yeah, I mean, they could have found another way around it.
My girlfriend took issue with it because she insists that I'm not a Gryffindor, even though I say I am. She keeps insisting that I'm a Slytherin.
Really?
Yeah.
Yikes.
Jerk.
Wow.
Anyway, that's just my own dirty.
So
secret
you
coming
form clans.
out. So you form.
It's
You can choose
Wizards
which.
Unite.
Yes.
oh,
Is the
Oh,
RZA
no.
in
Is there
this
like a-
game yet, or
Okay,
is it?
I thought you were
Should have
going
changed
with
my
a-
name to him. I'm gonna make a new account.
Okay.
Oh, this is more of a. Is there a grand dragon around sort of line
No,
of
no,
questioning?
that's no. J.K. Rowling.
But yeah, there's character classes.
Whole
and
different
each-
thing going on.
Do they ever talk about where like the wizard poop goes?
No, not yet.
Okay.
Well, you do pick up items off the floor, and I've picked up dragon spleens, so we can't be that
Spleens?
far from.
Oh,
yeah,
jeez.
can't be that far from poop.
Those don't just fall out.
But yeah, they have professions in the game which have skill trees.
It sounds like a lot
It's a lot.
for like a
phone
game
game.
that you want to open up and fuck around with because you're somewhere
Totally.
weird like that. Yeah. Though I would say the Pokemon Go raids sound like a lot also.
That is very true.
Yeah.
I haven't seen what their plans are for like the social aspect of this game, other than like the gym equivalents that you can take down with friends. But I haven't seen too many other people playing it.
Okay. Video games.
That's them.
They're
Yeah.
coming back.
All right, let's get into a little bit of the news for the week.
Mm-hmm.
Take this thing home. I was kind of on the fence about talking about the Switch Mini based on like accessory maker mock-up photo leaks.
Man, you would never cut it at an iPhone site
Definitely not.
with that attitude.
Especially because I'm over here going through photos right now and like barely getting my head around which ones are mock-ups made by the site reporting them.
Oh, sure.
Such as
yeah.
this one, which I was like, oh wow, these leaks are getting really specific, and then I realized like, oh no, they made that themselves.
Yeah.
But it's gotten substantial enough, I guess I would say, in the last week to be worth talking about now.
Kind of coming out of E3 a little bit.
So yeah, there was basically a couple days. It was like last Monday or Tuesday, a couple days after everybody got home. It was a tweet based on an email, I think, that somebody had gotten from a Chinese accessory manufacturer, including the word Switch Mini and like what looked like sort of a 3D printed version of what that thing might look
and
like.
also like, hey, we're selling cases for
Yes.
the Switch Mini, or
Yes.
we're distributing like these accessories for the Switch Mini,
Yes.
which is how all iPhone form factors
Yes,
leak
totally,
these
totally.
days. Is just accessory manufacturers
company-
going like, hey, here's a
Company called
case.
Hansen Electronic from China was the one that I believe that sent that out.
Way to go.
I also heard around E3 that I think it was a different manufacturer also had some stuff on display one day and then
Yeah.
had hastily removed it the next.
whoops.
That was kind of some similar like plastic shell looking mock-up stuff.
They just shrunk it down
Yeah.
even further so people couldn't see it.
So to add on to this, the Spanish arm of Game, the European
Okay,
GameStop.
Yeah.
Uh,
Triple H.
Yeah. Big Game is a big European games retailer. Apparently last night they published and then removed a bunch of product listings for things like Switch Mini transparent TPU case, Switch Mini protector film,
Yeah.
Switch Mini pack gameware, like just a bunch of bunch of kind of no-name accessories for something called a Switch Mini. And then I hope this thing is legit. I hope this is a real photo, but I believe this is the photo or the kind of mock-up that Hansen put out. Anyway,
Okay.
whatever.
Yeah,
There have been enough signs pointing to this thing basically being a Switch with built-in Joy-Cons. Like very
They're
predictable
not
looking.
removable, or
That seems to be the
Yeah,
implication.
yeah, it's all one.
But with
one
the
unit.
mock-ups being 3D printed, it's hard to know because they wouldn't
Sure.
3D print, removable Joy-Cons and all
yeah.
that other stuff. They're just trying to make form factors for a hard plastic case that goes around this new thing.
totally.
But it seems like that would be some of the stuff you would potentially do, right?
Yeah.
Because you could always dock it and use like a separate set of Joy-Cons.
Yeah.
Pro
Or
controller.
a pro controller, all that sort of stuff. It doesn't necessarily limit the functionality.
Yeah, so this picture they put out has a.
It just means you have to buy more shit.
Yeah, which in a way limits the functionality.
It's still capable of doing it all.
It's
is
still
what I'm
capable,
saying. They're
but,
just not
like,
including it.
You can't. This means that if you like, this just means that
My HD Rumble.
Yeah, but I mean, there's some serious stuff of like HD Rumble is super useful in Mario Odyssey, and like there's games
We don't
where,
know. The
Right,
controllers
they-
might still rumble
might
even if
still.
they're permanently attached. Like
Yeah.
we don't know.
But I won't
But
be
how are
able to
you
feel
like
the balls.
if you're playing docked? How do you do that?
with
whatever
Pro Controller.
whatever you're using will
Exactly.
have Rumble in it.
Or
That's what I'm saying is like you have to have another thing.
yeah, totally. Yes,
They are
that's
happy-
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's
they are
like, yes,
happy to sell you another
yeah.
controller.
Right. I'm saying that's bad.
Yeah, I mean, yes, it is. It is like yes, we are saying
Well-
the exact same thing.
We need to see what price it comes in at first, because if they're pitching this thing as, hey, it's a cheaper Switch that is made for portable play and it's like $200, then like I,
I don't
can see
think
it.
there's any scenario where you remove functionality from your console and it's a good, not a good thing, but it's excusable behind a price reduction.
But it's also not necessarily going to be the only Switch being sold. They'll
No,
still
yeah.
continue selling the other Switch. It's just a matter of like, oh, well, you buy this one because you want something. The same reason the 2DS
Yeah,
came
like,
out because
I was
it's a
just gonna say
resilient,
that, yeah.
a more resilient item for kids.
Yeah, like they
2DS
took
functions.
they took the 3D out of a system called 3DS. Like
and it
they're
doesn't
very
fold,
willing
you
to.
know, it's designed to be like a tank for kids.
but
Yeah,
you can
they're-
still play all the games the same way,
And the Switch Mini would do that too.
except for the instances where you lose docked functionality.
You buy a controller if you want that. Like it's meant to be a Switch Mini. Like you can do all that stuff, but you have to buy stuff.
It's still
With the
going to
2DS, you can't buy a fold for it.
Right, but folding is an
Or
integral
3D.
part of the gameplay.
You can't buy. They made games where 3D mattered.
Did they?
Yeah, there was the Mario game where it played with perspective in a way that like
Yeah, Mario
if
3D
you were,
Land.
if you were playing in 2D, you kind of had to hit the right stick to kind of rotate it,
Oh,
and
but
it
you
was
could-
a
yeah.
worse experience.
Arguably, Link Between Worlds was pretty
Yeah.
3D oriented.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it's
I
not-
never turned the 3D
It's
on.
not unplayable without it, but it was better with it.
Yeah,
Those vertical stages, oof, needed it.
but like yeah, I mean it's meant to be. Hey, we reduced some functionality to find a way to make it cheaper. Like that's not
Yeah,
unheard
that's,
of.
that's pretty standard.
That's
for
like,
them.
hey, this thing came with a smaller hard drive or no hard drive for like those base model 360s. You know,
I guess I could disagree. That
like
it's
I would
standard for
never
them,
buy that shit.
but I think that it's like
But you also-
not how you want to.
You also need to think about what you're gaining by making those things integrated. I mean, that's one less thing for kids to break. Those rails on the side, like those things are pretty fragile.
I don't agree that there aren't positives.
Like you're
for
probably
this.
you're
I'm
probably
just
going to get
saying-
better battery life out of it because they have a way bigger footprint to put a bigger battery in, presumably. Like there are probably upsides to this being
Could
all
be.
one thing.
But also, like it's not interesting to me personally. Like I don't have a need for
Yeah,
that.
if you already have a Switch, this isn't going to.
Yeah, but like like the trying to solve the multiple Switch household thing of like, oh, we can't share these digital games. We need to figure out. Oh, but my kid wants their own Switch. I've 2 kids. They need their own Switch now because they keep fighting. Like a second Switch for a household, like that makes sense because you already have the dock. Especially if they went on
And
to
the-
sell it without a dock.
The
maybe.
the smaller child gets the worst. Switch.
Oh,
Exactly, yeah,
I would
totally.
I would assume this would sell without a dock, personally.
Yeah, you might be right.
If
How do you-
it's portably
I guess you can
oriented.
still charge it with just
Yeah.
USB.
Mhm.
I think it makes like something like that makes sense as a like solution to like if you want multiple switches in your house. I think
Yeah,
that's
totally.
that's where that makes sense.
Like there's this whole other market that was buying $99 2DSs, that they
Yeah.
probably have not really gotten to with a $300 thing. That's like kind of fragile by comparison.
Yeah, but I wonder how much do they actually shave off the price?
Yeah, I mean, if this thing comes out at $250, that's like not a great proposition.
No, especially if it didn't come with a dock and
Right.
others. Like a dock is more than $50.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be rough.
I can barely press the buttons as is. Like, it's gonna be smaller. Oh my god.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's actually smaller
Well,
or not.
it's a mini.
Yeah, I mean, they're using the word mini, but
Well, I mean, it's the shells and stuff look
Smaller.
smaller.
Mm,
Like that stuff.
it's hard to tell. I don't see a lot of
Alright.
size reference in this stuff. Anyway, I don't know. Who knows how far off this thing is? Probably not very. If accessory stuff is getting out there.
Summer.
If an accessory company thought to bring their shells to E3 to like solicit orders, that says probably this calendar year,
Sure.
right? I mean,
Holiday
Fall.
2019.
yeah,
Probably
yeah.
before or with Pokemon, right? Like that's
Yeah.
they need this thing out
Yeah.
there for Pokemon. That's who they're actually selling it to, right?
Yeah,
Is kids who
Poke
want to play
Peeps.
Pokemon.
That's why they can't put all the Pokemon in it. It's too small.
that's right.
It's too little.
Mm-hmm.
They don't fit.
Let's see here.
You got to buy the upgraded, bigger Switch if you want
Mega
the
Switch.
national. Yeah,
Honestly, it's such a slow news week. I pulled a bunch of stuff that we normally probably wouldn't really talk about.
There's one thing on there I think we should really get into, which is the
Is it the
loot.
EA
Box.
stuff?
I mean, it's kind of old news at this point, but
Well, it's-
holy.
I mean, it's an ongoing thing.
the phrase "surprise mechanics" sounds so gross.
It's-
Everything about it sounds like a criminal act.
To be clear,
boy.
that this story
Loot
definitely
boxes.
meets the news bar regardless of the week.
Uh,
But yeah, representatives of EA and I believe also
Epic.
appeared
know
before Parliament in the UK, before a committee to talk about loot boxes, where also this was EA's VP of Legal and Government Affairs,
Jesus.
which is a title I have never heard
Must be a
before,
rough job right now.
and I feel like even
the idea that you have to have one.
having that role in your organization says a lot, I feel like, about this stuff. They were basically questioned about whether they consider loot boxes to be ethical,
No.
to which
Whoops. Shit.
to which the EA rep said, "We don't call them loot boxes," and then referred to them as, yes, surprise mechanics.
Surprise! Everyone loves a surprise.
She
It's-
used the
it's
analogy.
true.
She used the
It's
analogy
true.
of going to Target.
The bit about Target's good because she's
store-
like Target or whatever
or
you
whatever
have
your
here,
version of
yeah,
Target
we
is.
don't. I don't know. I don't know if you have Targets
Bother
here.
A
doing the
store, a
research.
store that sells lots of toys, and you do a search for surprise toys. What you'll find is that this is something people enjoy.
Totally.
They
That's-
enjoy surprises.
It's-
That is absolutely true.
That's
That's
yes.
absolutely true.
Compares it to Kinder Eggs or Hatchimals.
Yeah, or like the what is it? Like
LOL
an LOL
surprise.
surprise. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pokemon cards.
Yeah, cards,
I mean,
baseball
yeah,
cards.
It's the baseball
like,
card thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like especially when you look at like FIFA Ultimate Team, where the metaphor is literally buying packs of playing cards.
Yes.
They like to collect.
we
they
do
like to
th-
trade.
Yeah, we
they
do
like
think
to-
the way that we have implemented these kinds of mechanics in FIFA is actually quite ethical and quite fun,
I think you're
enjoyable to
quite
people.
fucking wrong. So like, okay, I think where the difference is in a lot of this stuff, because yeah, you can. It's comparable to Magic cards, let's say, because it's like it's a collectible card that might be pretty to look at, but you can use it in a game. So FIFA Ultimate Team is that similar concept.
Sure.
Except when you buy the cards, they're physical. You can do whatever you want with them. You can give them to a
Resell
friend.
them.
You can resell them, all this other stuff. If you get them for FIFA, they last a year, like less than a year when you get them, because the next fucking game is coming out in 12 months, and you need to buy the cards all fucking over again.
So there's actually more to FIFA than that, even. Or you may be aware of this. I was not. But Conrad from Hampshire in the UK wrote in about this.
Mhm.
And he basically, this was in response to this exact hearing. He asked, how has EA gotten away with the FIFA microtransactions implemented in their games? When the Star Wars Battlefront 2 controversy happened, players were justifiably unhappy that they either had to spend money or grind for 40 hours to unlock powerful multiplayer characters. The backlash was so massive that EA eventually cut the cost of premium characters by 75%, pulled the premium currency the day before release. In FIFA, however, you can spend anything from $10 to $10,000 and not be guaranteed any return for your money. Even compared to EA's other sports titles, this is unique. In Madden, if you spend a certain amount of currency on specific packs, you will be guaranteed a special high-rated card for your ultimate team. In FIFA, this has never existed, and you are guaranteed nothing but a chance at pulling a high-rated card, no matter how much money you spend. There isn't even a Hearthstone-like system where you will always pull a fairly rare card if you eventually reach a limit of packs without hitting anything good.
I bet that this year's FIFA probably gets with the program on that stuff.
Yeah.
That's probably just like a release cycle. Like, we're updating this across the board. Or, I bet they get there.
His question is basically just, is this because mainstream game coverage isn't as heavily invested in sports games compared to other genres?
Also, yes.
It
is people are it is way easier for a message of look at this bullshit to get around a Star Wars game.
Yeah.
That is a more mainstream thing that I think the media can latch onto. Is like the Star Wars games for kids, whereas like the soccer game, even though it is like probably an order of magnitude more popular than fucking Star Wars,
that's for hooligans.
Yeah, or you soccer fans are used to gambling. I don't know, or we're getting in fights.
I want to go back to your metaphor for a second because I think you got it like 80% of the way there.
All right.
But then one other thing that really irks me about this stuff, and it is a very common complaint I hear from parents and stuff like that, is like, let's say we're going with the magic card thing still. You go, you get your pack. You get so you go to the store, your parents give you $30. Go wild, kid. Go get some packs of magic cards.
I love going wild.
You get your cards, you start opening there on the car ride home. You got your cards, cool. It's the end of the day. Your parents will maybe take you back to the comic book store in another weekend, 2 weeks from now.
Yeah.
With this motherfucking stuff, you got your parents' credit card tied up into the machine. I saw an article about somebody who, it was a Reddit post of his nephew's kids came over and spent $7,000 on Fortnite.
That's bullshit. Yeah. That guy got drunk and bought all that shit himself. That is, he won't give me my money back. It was my nephew's, I swear.
He provided a lot of proof. He was like, I know
they
this sounds
all
like
do.
bullshit. But like that's the thing, is it's so easy to do. It's so easy to just be like, another one. Because you don't see the money ever. You don't.
Yeah.
Like,
and there are child accounts on consoles designed to kind of limit that spending or require approval for spending. Some of that stuff exists at the system level. Like, I'm not super familiar with.
Let's put more responsibility on the parents who are working all day to fucking. I mean, there should be a level of guardianship above children. But kids are so fucking crafty and good at subverting all of that shit that it doesn't mean anything.
If they were truly good at subverting that shit, they would find ways to get that shit for free. Back in my day, we broke the goddamn law. Stole that shit.
Woo! Now kids are just fishing people for V-Bucks with TikTok accounts.
They're fishing their fucking parents. Idiot, that's still your money. You got to create a fake ID. You got to get the credit card. All right.
You're saying I should have gotten a blue box before I called the Sierra Online hint line?
Yeah. If you wanted to download those Commodore games,
ethical.
Don't just call Germany.
Yeah.
It's actually extremely ethical that I can spend $5,000 and not get the Overwatch costume that shows the feet like I want to.
That they're just doing you a favor at that point of just like, hey, you need to learn a lesson here. It needs to be an expensive lesson, apparently. You sick fuck.
Very expensive, very ethical.
It's just tough
lesson.
love.
Very legal and very cool. Thank you, EA.
It is like the sound bites coming out of this are just like the worst defense of this stuff. Yeah. Like you read it and you see where they're coming from and you go like, okay, I get it. Like, yes, some of this stuff makes sense. There's a logic to it. You're right that people do like to be surprised and people are buying these fucking toys that are basically like unboxing videos in the making. And then the toys themselves are not that good no matter what. So you have to unbox another one because the rush is in taking it out of the fucking packaging. Toys are a nightmare now. Maybe they always were.
Also funny that they compared it to a Kinder Egg, a thing banned in the U.S. in the last 10 years.
Isn't that for choking
it is,
though?
But it's still like when you're making your point about, it's just like these other things, a thing that within the last 10 years was banned.
Well, she's speaking to the audience there.
But she's also saying Target or whatever you have.
Well,
here.
that's it is what it is.
I don't think we can agree to say that games are addictive. I would tell you that Electronic Arts already is a very responsible company.
Very responsible.
Very legal. Very cool.
Very ethical.
Very fun. Very good games.
I think that they did not do a good job of presenting their case here.
No.
Even though I think that there is some element of that there's truth in that, right? There's baseball cards, magic cards, like all this stuff has been sold.
It was
for
a novel. Even loot boxes
years.
was a very interesting idea at the beginning. I like Overwatch's system was like, oh, this is kind of, I don't know what I'm gonna get. Oh, cool. I don't play that character. I'm gonna go try time out. Like there was a novelty to it that I appreciated.
Yeah, but the idea that they would have meetings and go over strategy, presumably, and then the thing they came away with was the phrase surprise mechanics as something that they were going to use in a public way to try to deflect this fucking shitstorm. Like, what the fucking fuck are you thinking?
When you come up with your word or whatever, you just have to picture the headline,
Yeah,
right?
right.
And like say it out
Surprise
loud to
mechanics.
yourself.
Surprise mechanics. Like, that's somehow better than loot box. Like, that's somehow better than loot box. Surprise mechanics?
Surprise mechanics to me implies that there's not even like there's a chance that you don't even get loot. At least with a loot box, I know I'm getting something.
Surprise mechanics sounds like I clicked a button and a van showed up and someone said, "Hey, get in the van, kid." It sounds fucking terrible.
Surprise.
And also the stuff that they're doing sucks. Like, the way they're presenting it sucks. Like, you know, it's easy. Like, we can get hung up on the fucking phrasing all day long.
Right.
But also the shit they're selling fucking sucks. The way they're selling it
The way
sucks.
they're selling it,
Yeah.
There's a way to bring surprise mechanics to video games in a way that is fair.
and ethical,
But it will cost
monster
EA
jump out of
money.
the
and
closet.
responsible.
And it's either EA is going to find a way to write this stuff on their own, and it'll cost them a lot of money in sales and stuff of their fucking surprise mechanic microtransactions, or governments like this around the world are going to come in and fuck them up bad.
We don't want that.
And I think we're past that point. Like that's we talked about the ESA's failure to act and how the ESA has not been effective at lobbying for the game industry for some time now. Back when that shitstorm was happening, and this is what this is.
They just couldn't resist. They couldn't restrain themselves
They were addicted to the rush
of increasing shareholder value.
of, oh man, yeah. It's a bad look.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
They did not
And
do a
that
good
is like
job.
the tip of the iceberg.
Those people are being paid a lot of money.
They have done a
that.
bad job to get to walk in front of the government, and you know, whatever. Like Zuckerberg did a shit job too, right? Like, it seems like when everyone gets called on the carpet to go talk to Parliament, especially it seems like the UK ones are the worst.
Yeah.
It's like you're talking to people that have
They got all
no
those
fucking
wigs
idea
on.
what the tech. Yeah, exactly. Powder everywhere. Like, they have no idea what the mechanics of video games even are, or technology, or anything, and they're just like up there asking the dumbest questions
They
possible.
know their constituents are mad about it, but they're not sure
not
why.
quite sure what
but they
it
know
is.
they got to
Like,
get
we
them.
got to protect the kids, I think. Yeah. And then somehow these companies still walk in there and fuck that up. Like, this should be a layup. This should be like a PR opportunity. You're like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, we know exactly how to phrase all this and make this all sound good and go away. And you walked in there
you
and said,
drop about season 2 of Apex
"Surprise
Legends
mechanics."
is gonna happen.
Yeah. Holy shit.
You want to talk about it? Feel good cosmetic microtransaction story?
Sure.
Yeah.
Bungie announced a bunch of changes to the Eververse last week in Destiny 2, which is the cosmetic shop there.
Tess Everest's
This
shop.
feels this is not a feel good.
Ah!
This is a make good.
Well, yes. They're riding their ship, let's say,
Yeah.
on this stuff. Gosh, it's complicated. I'm trying to think of the best way to condense it. Previously, armor that you could spend real money on could have come down with shitty perks that would have made you never want to use it. They're doing away with that whole system, where they are now... The upshot of this is basically they are divorcing the look of the armor you would have bought for money from like the stats and the functionality of it. They're basically adding like transmogrification, like other like actual MMOs have had,
Like an ornament
forever.
slot,
Yeah.
or just like, oh, I want to slot this cosmetic item over my armor to look
well,
a certain way.
It sounds like it's kind of the reverse of the infusion system, where
Yeah.
you'll basically infuse the look of your cosmetic armor onto any good armor that has dropped for you, and you'll keep the
Okay.
perks and the values on it.
So you can buy that really cool looking armor
Yes.
and ignore whatever perks
And this
are
is
going to come
and this
on
is
it.
retroactive to anything that Eververse is where the cosmetics drop in that game. So anything that's ever come out of Eververse since the game launched will convert into that sort of ornament that you can then apply to. They're loosening that whole thing up.
That was the only place you could like buy stuff with real money,
Yes.
right?
yes,
Yes.
yeah.
And it was like 80% unique items,
Yeah.
and like the other 20% would be like regular stuff they would rotate in and
I
out.
bought a couple boxes. I was very happy with my purchases. in that
So
game.
this is
Yeah,
maybe
same.
the most interesting thing is they have come out and said, hey, anything you have out of the Eververse that you're sure that you don't want, or even if you kind of do want it, you should break it all down. Like turn it into the paid currency as fast as you can because we're totally reworking the way that stuff works. Basically, cosmetics that were broken down would turn into bright dust, and then you had to spend bright dust to get cosmetics back out of your collections.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. And that extended to even like shaders, like anything, even something as basic as like armor coloration. I think I've got this all straight.
And they're changing
Super
that to
fucking
where anything
basically-
you've already unlocked in your collection,
yes.
you don't have to pull out with paid currency.
So there was
you
this
can pull
like
it out with the grind currency.
yes, there was this tiered system where like anything that was not considered cosmetic you could get with the grind currency, but
Yeah.
you had to spend like basically money currency to.
It's all very complicated.
Yeah,
but
they're making it so the cosmetics can be gotten out of your collection as much as you want for basically nothing.
yeah.
Going forward. So they're basically saying like, hey, break down all of your cosmetics and get as much of this currency as you can, because after September you'll be able to get it all back for basically free anyway. People seem very happy with these changes.
It's a better system. I think the way they handled shaders up until this point, and
It was bad.
it was bad.
Uh,
Like no, my inventory is full. The male guy is full of shaders. Like I have too many shaders.
and it led to me never ever using any of the shaders that it would have cost me real money to get more of.
Yeah, because then you're
Yeah.
you're
So
replacing that armor later and then
Right.
not using it
Yeah.
anymore. Yeah.
this is a very like player friendly change to their whole cosmetic setup. That seems like it's definitely going in the right direction. Oh gosh,
But that was a bad system when
yeah,
Destiny 2 came out. That was a bad
yes,
system.
it was bad for sure. But
When is
they're,
this?
they're making. I think this starts September 17th,
September,
along
okay.
with all the other stuff. They're making a lot of positive moves in a very short time.
Yeah.
Since recent developments have taken place.
Mhm.
You can no longer buy Alpha Protocol on Steam.
What?
Yeah.
I can still download it though.
I mean, if
You could buy a copy fromTt Rory,
he's
the
got
license
a,
holder.
Never
he's got a
raised.
stack of them under his
Yeah.
desk. I mean, his name's right there on the box.
They're
so,
all signed, ready to go.
Is this a music thing?
Yeah, it sounds like it's a music
Yeah.
licensing thing. So Obsidian has not weighed in on what's going to happen with this. Doesn't sound like as of right now people know.
That's definitely
If it's
the
coming back
drawback
or
of all digital, our
Yeah.
all digital future.
But it's Alpha Protocol, man.
I know.
That game was all right. It's not a great. I mean, it's not like amazing,
No,
but
No.
it's
the site just has a lot of history with that game.
a really cool,
Yeah.
but flawed game.
Good pistols.
Yeah,
Okay.
too good.
All right, let's wrap up news. Ben, I know there was one story that I saw you mention right before we came in here that I'll let you
Oh,
talk about.
you,
I didn't have a chance to fully read up on it,
well,
or I'm not familiar with the
yeah. I'll pull up the actual
Streamer.
talker
It's a
story.
sad story. I've been following this for the past couple of days, just trying to get
Oh.
a sense of
Man.
what had happened. They he had been missing for a while, and then they
Left a video.
found his phone.
Yeah,
and-
so this is about a YouTuber and streamer goes by the name Atika, excuse me, Desmond, his real name, and he's fairly popular, like 600, 800,000
800,000.
subscribers on YouTube and Twitch. He was kind of famous for having like really big reaction to things like Smash stuff in particular,
like a big Smash
Okay.
Brothers.
yeah.
It was Nintendo focused.
Yeah.
Young guy, 29 years old. He basically, in the course of 24-ish hours, put out a video that was acting as a sort of suicide note, and then they found a bag of his belongings next to a bridge, and then this morning and they found a body, and this morning they confirmed it was him.
Yeah.
And it's just really sad, like it sucks to say this, but like, the weirdness of like celebrity shifting down and becoming like it's very easy to become a young famous person these days,
Sure,
like to
yeah.
start, like, I mean, he was 29, like he's an adult, but he's started in 2012. And a lot of his audience, even younger, I saw people like in a thread about him talking about like, oh, I remember his Smash 4 videos from when I was in middle school.
Right.
And just stuff like that. And it kind of puts a focus on it's hard to talk about this. He talked about mental illness and race a lot, and I'm sure that was a lot of young people's first experience hearing about that from somebody as like an authority figure, somebody who could look
was
up to.
out there talking about that stuff. Yeah,
And it's unfortunate that it ended this way. It's really truly sad. But
yeah, it looks like people had been hoping that he had just kind of gone off the grid or something.
Yeah,
they found his switch and stuff, and
he's had he famously over the course of a couple days kind of had a breakdown and uploaded a bunch of porn to his YouTube channel, so they would nuke his account and stuff like that. He would go on like a Periscope stream and obviously be unstable and talk about stuff. But
and then it's
and basically what I wanted to say is there's a lot of people who are going to be growing up with an audience who don't know how to express what's going on all the time, and I have elements of this in my life, and as I'm sure you guys do as well.
It's the definitely
and it can be hard to be in a position like this and truly feel close to anyone sometimes, because there's so many. I'm not someone who is as recognizable as him, but even in my position, it's you get so many comments from strangers that it's easy to get lost in that and kind of feel disconnected.
Yeah, it's it's a real mindfuck. And a lot of that stuff, a lot of this stuff has, it's been going on for a while now. The way the culture has gone. But I don't think that there's been enough research or enough what this is doing to people.
Yeah.
Of and you see a lot of stories about this person's got this many followers and they're famous, they're living this life. It's no, they still have to have a day job, and now they can't work that day job anymore because stalkers are showing up there and making it harder for them to do their job. And it's the mental effects of kind of being a front-facing person, I think, can be a lot. And I think the state of mental health care is low and in some cases getting lower. Like this isn't it. Sometimes it doesn't feel like we're moving in the right direction just for all people. I'm not saying people that are in front of the camera like whatever, but we're just not doing enough to get people the support they need. We're not doing enough for mental health in this country. Is what I feel like I can speak to, but it doesn't seem like it's great.
And it's completely it's very easy to feel powerless as a person, as a human. What am I gonna? Even if you're just an ally, somebody without any sort of diagnosed mental illness or depression or any of that, it's hard to just be what should I be doing? And there's tons of things you can do. There's easy stuff like getting out there and, whenever there's a high profile suicide like this, there's, people putting out information. But, even just talking to people in your life, even if you don't think they're depressed, go out there and make sure the people around you know how much you appreciate them. And it helps a lot.
Yeah.
And it's
that stuff can go a long way.
It can go a long way, and it's you catch yourself. I literally this podcast earlier made a suicide joke.
Yeah,
as soon as I said it, I was oh, that word's just in my head. That's why it came out. But it's so easy to do stuff like that and just not realize in the moment. Just being more conscious of it, kind of talking about it more, not being afraid to get out there and say I've been depressed in the past. I've had shit go on, and just kind of make people feel like they're not alone.
It's rough for the friends and family in a situation like this, and in this case even the guy's audience, because there's kind of a feeling of frustration that sets in, and maybe guilt to some extent, because a lot of people probably are thinking especially the way this played out somewhat in public, people are thinking why didn't I see more signs of this? Why couldn't someone have done something to stop this?
Yeah, it's
There are things you can do is basically how I wanted to kind of end what I wanted to say. Like, don't let it feel like you can't do it.
Yeah, and it's stuff that I think people need to be more open with. Like sometimes people can wear that stuff as sort of a secret shame and that sort of thing. And
There's definitely a stigma attached to it.
absolutely, yeah.
It's hard to admit to.
But I think everyone's going through some level of shit all the time.
Yeah.
And that doesn't necessarily
Even if
mean
they're
that
good at
everyone's
like
on the verge
having
of,
a smile on their face while they do it.
Yeah. And just I think the notion of just like, hey, just kind of try to be kind to people if you can, because everyone is going through some level of fucking shit at all times.
Yeah.
And they're not always in a position to talk about it. But yeah. And get out, like spread the word about
Signal boosts.
suicide hotlines and,
Yeah.
and all that sort of stuff. Like that stuff's all over Twitter right now. It's there are plenty of ways for people to get help if they do feel like they want to end their life. That's not the thing of like suicide being like the permanent solution to a temporary problem is something I've always gone back to. It's just like, there's nothing so bad that but people don't always hear that.
Yeah.
They don't always hear that, like, hey, there's this will pass. Sometimes stuff can get on you and feel like it is the worst thing you've ever experienced, and the only way out is to end your life. But that's never the answer. It's never the answer. So it's a rough one.
Yeah.
Like the more I read up on this, just like all the stuff around it of just like, and it had all the trappings of just like this modern world, right?
Yeah.
Of people trying to look at as many different security cameras and this and that,
Oh
and
my
trying to
God,
piece things
yeah.
together like they were solving a
the
mystery.
internet
And it's just
detective
like,
work around it of
fuck,
just
man.
like you can't imagine what the family's going through
Yeah.
when they're seeing that shit.
like it's, yeah.
Certainly raises some questions about the influence of the internet.
Yeah.
On people who spend a lot of their lives on there.
On people.
And yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know?
And also the people who watch them.
Yeah.
Certainly. Well, we wish his friends and family condolences.
Yeah.
That's it for news for the week. And I guess that's it for the podcast.
Yeah. We got like Samurai Showdown's out today. We got that quick look up. If you want to see how that looks in action.
Bloodstained as well.
Bloodstained.
too,
Yeah. That's up as well. We got some other stuff coming around.
Yeah.
We got that live stream tomorrow. You're gonna want to tune into that live stream tomorrow.
I don't even know what it is.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. All right.
I haven't played that game in a while.
Okay. Well, I'm sure you've gotten way better at it.
Yep, for
and
sure.
That'll help.
If not,
Is it Dota?
you might have some help.
Are we playing Dota?
It's not Dota.
Jan?
It's not Dota.
It's not fucking Dota. Maybe you can play Dota off to the side.
I'll put in a little pip.
Dota Pip.
The Dota hole.
Yeah.
We need a big cavernous hole in the ground of the computer that I can sit in and play Dota.
Just the Dota trench just stinks. It's just disgusting.
And maybe we'll find out a way to make pancakes this week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I bring a hot plate in?
Yes.
Oh, for sure.
Totally.
Okay. It's electric. That's no gas.
We've got
Yeah,
that.
it can't be gas. That'd be
Okay.
bad.
All right.
But-
all right.
The lights are hot. Well, this is
Check
just
with-
like
that
that.
is true.
If anyone asks,
Yeah.
I'll just say, well, the lights are hot.
Okay.
There's a microwave in the kitchen.
All right. It's not gonna do it, Ben.
You should put cheese in those pancakes. See
Well, the
happens.
mozzarella sticks.
mozzarella
No, I mean
Yeah.
in the pancakes.
Shit.
See what happens.
Sounds like we got our work cut out for us this week.
That sounds like another project.
Oh God.
All right.
After show
Yeah.
Yeah.
coming up.
Yeah.
All right. Call in with your questions or whatever. You guys handle that stuff.
Yeah. We want to get you live on
I'm
the
not-
phone
I'm not going to tell
this
people what to
time.
do.
Get on Discord. Holler at us.
It's the internet phone
Yeah.
or the phone.
Or the phone if
Or
you
the
want to.
phone
Yeah. If
phone.
you want to leave a voicemail.
All right.
707 exit flu. Punch that into a telephone and then
And write drunk dial this.
Yes. Enter it in your contacts list as the 3 a.m. boys,
There you go.
and then call it at 3 in the morning.
But only at 3.
But only at 3. No, call it anytime.
Okay. But a special.
You get bonus points if I see on your Google transcript that you called in
Yeah.
at 3 a.m.
Exactly. 3 a.m. Pacific time.
Yeah, that's the most bonus points.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. Well, thanks everybody for listening. Like you said, we'll be getting back up to speed with some streaming and other stuff this
yeah.
week.
We're back in action here.
And we'll be back with another episode of the podcast next week. We'll see you then.